Beep, 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 beep. Ah! Saxophone strikes you and it crits. Damn. I didn't expect the saxophone suddenly striking like that. Hello, everybody! Welcome back to Discworld Noir. As we left off, still investigating the counterweight killings. We got a lot of leads last time. Question is, where do we go next? We know how every suspect, well, every victim of the killings were killed, but it seems like, were they really killed by the serial killer? I mean, this was poisoned, strangled, and drowned in wine. Huh. It's curious that how different ways that people have been killed. Usually when it's a serial killer, they only have one way of killing. This is more like where somebody's playing hitman, right?
When I mentioned the murder at Unseen University to Mrs. Foames, she said something about dead men's pointy boots. One of the Bledlows up at Unseen University had told me that the reader in esoteric occultism's name was Matham, and he'd been poisoned in his room in the Widdershins wing. Between the gatekeeper of the Merchants' Guild and death, I'd learned that the murdered merchant's name was Gaimin, and that he'd been strangled in the guild house. I'd overheard the patrician and Vimes talking about the murder of the clerk at the palace. Apparently the man's name was Cypher, and he'd been drowned in a vat of wine. There are worse ways to go, I guess.
Well, he could have been drowned in the river Ankh. That's the worst way to go, if you ask me. Question now is, where should we go?
Carlotta claimed she worshipped the goddess Errata.
Did I talk to the Mooncalf? Well, let's start there. Let's go to Mooncalf and talk about Errata. I mean, it should start here. This is where she worships Errata, so this is the best place to start. Can you even drown to River Ankh? Very painfully. I mean, the only way to do that is somebody pushes you through. Then you can drown. So that's why it would be worse to drown in River Ankh, because it would be so much effort put into it. It's like, I'm not gonna bash you, I'm not gonna crunch you or crush you with River Ankh, I'm gonna drown you in River Ankh. That's the... Just think about that threat. That would be... I would be shitting my pants if somebody threatened me to drown me in River Ankh. Because it would take so much effort to do so. And if they succeeded, then they would be a very efficient killer.
I have some more questions. Ask.
Pretty much only have one question.
Can you tell me anything about Errata?
Bah! Maleclipse's deranged goddess. I do not waste my time with such trivialities.
Okay. Well, she is the goddess of confusion and
I
misunderstandings.
need your help again.
And other stuff.
Carlotta says she's a follower of Errata. Is that right?
Bah! I am the only true follower of Errata in the whole of Ankh-Morpork.
Really?
Unless you have seen the light, Lewton.
Seen the light?
Do you believe in the ways of Errata?
Not
How
really.
could I not? Sure,
No.
Errata is the most worthy of all gods to follow.
Sure.
Either you've just had a miraculous conversion or you're learning to lie. Good. A useful skill in followers of Errata.
So you're saying that all followers of Errata should be liars. Got it. Okay.
I'll have to go. The truth is out there.
Trust no one.
So in order to follow Errata, we should be in the X-Files. Got it. Okay. I really didn't get much answers out of them. I don't think Merchant's Guild will help me on anything. Well, we started at the office. There's nothing here. Maybe Samael will know something? I don't know. I really have no idea what I should do right now.
Samael, Miss. What do you know about the goddess Errata? I wouldn't know anything.
As always, Samael,
Thanks again.
you're of no help. Of any kind. I think Samael only helps you with one clue, and that's it. Otherwise, Samael is the most useless character in the whole game.
Is this a good time for a friendly chat? Given that there's never a good time for a friendly chat, I guess it's as good as any.
That's a positive attitude.
What do you know about the goddess Errata? If you asked fewer questions, I read that.
Didn't know that you could read. So good on you, mate. You know how to read. And it's closed. Horse is not there. There's only the gargoyle. That surely is of no help. Is it a long stretch, Nobby? But I've got a question for you.
Just thought we could have... Oh, alright. Make it quick.
This is as quick as it could be. Just one question.
What do you know about the goddess Errata? Give me a break, Lewton. I don't...
Lots.
Who would...
Sir would like to meet the Count.
Can I
please.
see the Count?
I am not in a...
Still here,
In a sense.
Have you heard of the goddess Errata?
Eh? A goddess? Yes. Yes, she was. I always liked your mother. That's why I married her. I suppose.
That's not what we're talking about here.
Is he...
Dead? No.
Close?
You'll know when he dies.
How?
I will swing my scythe.
Ah.
Do you have to do that?
No. But when I appear in person, I am required to separate the soul from its body.
Why?
It has symbolic value.
Do you know Errata?
The goddess of misunderstandings.
Yes.
Yes.
What's she like?
Chaotic and confusing.
Thought so.
But she has a certain sense of justice, I think.
Cool.
Justice?
All the gods are sentimentalists at heart. Of course, I never let that sort of thing get in my way.
Guess that's a good thing. Okay. Didn't get anywhere there.
Well, goodbye. I'm sure we'll meet...
Oh, you...
We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when. I mean, don't need to talk to Carlotta, that's where I got the errata topic from. No, not the temple. I was actually going for the cemetery because isn't Gaspode still here? Yeah. Gaspode, do you know anything about the goddess errata?
I'm back.
Good boy.
I know this woman called Carlotta von Uberwald. It seems she's a werewolf.
She the one that infected you?
Yes, although I don't know if she meant to do it.
What? You mean she accidentally bit you?
Seems like...
Yeah, she was kissing me.
Bitches. Nothing but trouble.
Oi! Watch the language there.
What do you know about the goddess Errata?
Gordon Bennett, who do you think I am? Laddie the Wonder Dog?
No, you're Gaspode the Wonder Dog.
Thanks for your help, Gaspode.
I live to serve you, master.
Woof woof. Okay, so he's of no help. Is there anything else behind here? Highly doubt it.
This was the other side of the window behind Mooncalf.
Don't you mean Mooncalf?
I could see that someone was on the other side of the window. This was the this was I'd lost the trail. This
Nothing here, huh? It's Friday night. You know, people might be going out and do stuff.
I'd found the name that's
Oh yeah, I forgot. I got this list from somewhere. Where did I get it from? Let's see if I could talk to people about this list.
just thought we could have a little. Oh, me. I'd keep the list of names to myself until I knew more about it.
Who would be a good person to talk to about a list of names? Not Samael. The Count probably won't be able to help.
Who would...
Carlotta?
I'd like to. Is she?
I will go now.
You can't keep yourself away from me.
I just wanted to ask. Until I was sure I could trust her, there were some things I didn't want to discuss with Carlotta. And frankly, I wondered if I'd ever really trust her.
Well, the way she's been acting and all that, I don't think we can trust her.
I'll be in touch.
I'll be waiting.
I mean, she accidentally turned us into a werewolf. She's been lying about a lot of stuff. Yeah, not really the trustworthiest person around the world. Mankin certainly won't have any information about the list of names that I've got. I guess I could try. I mean, he's a bartender after all.
Is this a good...
And he knows Therma.
I'd keep the...
Okay. Fine. Is this really the only place where I can go to talk about the list?
I need your...
There.
I read out the list of names to Malaclips, and that sounds familiar look came over his face.
Hey, Specky.
Yes. Anu worshippers are these.
Anu.
The first ones. They're up to something secret, too. Out of Malaclips's ears, soft in the darkness, they scheme.
I'm investigating them. Want to know what I find out?
As long as it doesn't cost me anything. I don't make rash bargains, Lewton.
Hey, Mark. So, Anu worshippers, huh? Wonder what Mooncav has to say about the list. He's probably gonna deny that it exists. Get a feeling.
I have some more... I wasn't about to reveal that I had the list to Mooncath. I had a feeling that would be suicide. But perhaps I could use it to trap him. Someone told me that you know Therma.
Indeed. And who might that have been?
It's not important. Is she part of your cult?
No. No, she's not.
But you know her.
No. I've never met her.
I see. What about Satrap?
Are you intending to bore me with a list of people's names? I haven't time for this tomfoolery. I must preach the gospel of Anu.
Thy kingdom Coom and all that.
Yes. Indeed.
I'd clearly unsettled him mentioning Coom. Now I just needed to sit back and watch what he got up to.
So he's all riled up. Maybe now if I go behind him, there might be something going on there. To the cemetery! I wonder what the Anu worshippers would have anything to do with anything around here. But then again, the first game had worshippers and they summoned the dragon just because they wanted things to get better for themselves. So why not these Anu worshippers want to do something about the counterweight stuff, you know? Uh-huh. There are 2 silhouettes now.
There were 2 silhouettes at the window.
Hey, Gabriel.
One was definitely Mooncalf. The other looked like a troll.
Well, I know what to do here. Time for transformation.
There were 2 silhouettes with...
And I think we may have to do something about it. We will have a meeting of the true believers after this evening's sermon.
True believers?
Sure thing, boss. You want I should go now?
No. You keep an eye on Lewton if you can. I'll go back to the sanctuary and leave a message for the others.
You got it, boss.
Huh.
I'd overheard something interesting at the window of the Temple of Small Gods. Something about a meeting of the true believers.
I think there's only one person that I can talk to about this, the true believers stuff. Malaclips, you have been a fountain of information. I mean, you told me that the list is full of names of the Anu worshippers.
I need your help.
Yeah, we need your help again.
I overheard Mooncalf talking about a meeting of the true believers. I'd really like to know what that was about.
It's tough to find out what the cult of Anu is up to.
Is there any way I could listen in to one of Mooncalf's sermons?
The sermons don't take place here. They hold them in the inner sanctum.
The inner sanctum?
It's the center of worship here in the Temple of Small Gods.
Ah,
How come? I mean, there are a vast number of gods and goddesses that the temple has to provide for. Are you telling me they all have to share one room for the services?
Absolutely.
Ah, right.
High priests are always complaining that so-and-so was holding the sanctum all morning, or that such and such left hair at the bottom of the holy font. It causes a lot of tension around the temple.
I can
Can
imagine.
you get me in there? I'd like to have a look around.
I could arrange to have the sanctum for a while if I told them I had a follower, but I don't.
So if I agree to be your follower, you can get us into the inner sanctum.
Yes, I can. But you wouldn't really be my follower. The followers of Errata don't follow each other. We don't even follow Errata.
Right.
We follow our own way.
All about
So
confusion.
why is there a church of Errata at all?
You're learning, Lewton. Keep thinking like that and you'll go far in the church.
So can you get me into the inner sanctum?
I can, provided we can find a time when the cult of Anu aren't there.
Are Mooncalf's lot in there often?
All the time. And that's not all either. He sneaks away after each one. I think they've got a secret sanctuary somewhere.
I'd like to find that.
Actually, I'd quite like you to find it too.
Can't resist a secret, eh?
No, I'd just like to get in the way of everything Mooncalf does. Him and his big evangelical budget and hordes of out-of-tune followers singing and chanting at all hours of the day. He's gonna get his comeuppance, and anything I can do to speed it up suits me fine.
All right.
So you'll help me?
Wait here. I'll go and make the arrangements.
It took a while, but eventually Malaclips got me into the inner sanctum. Malaclips stayed by the door to warn me if anyone was coming.
Quite the small inner sanctum when you think about how huge this place is. This is where all the sermons take place? They all just stand or sit down on the floor? For who knows how long? And also, I thought I saw silhouettes of the candles. Never mind. I thought I saw shadows in the shadows, but it was just these candles. In the lightning.
There were small stained glass windows in the inner sanctum depicting the story of how a valiant mortal, pure and gentle, was cruelly tricked, taunted, and tortured by the gods. Just for a laugh.
Typical story.
The inner sanctum sported a beautiful lectern. The plaque said it was donated to the temple by Mr. Fidean, of the militant servitors of Ikebana, goddess of topiary.
Ah.
Searching, I discovered there was a cavity in the base of the lectern. There was certainly a lot of space under the lectern. The space under the lectern was large enough to fit a whole person inside. Unfortunately, there wasn't much room to move inside. And to my embarrassment, I got stuck.
Great.
Lewton! They're coming! Hide!
I'm way ahead of you, Malaclips.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered
All I want to
together
do
in
right
sight
now
of
is
God,
put some matches
Anu,
under
Anu,
those feet and
to
light
speak
them
of our
up.
devotion to the Anointed One at this, our time of need. But before today's sermon, I'd like to read from the cult bulletin for a moment. Firstly, there's a jumble sale next Saturday to raise funds to buy a fresh goat to sacrifice.
Nice.
We'd appreciate it if as many cultists as possible could attend. We don't want to have to sacrifice another pigeon. It hardly befits a deity of the illustrious wonder of Anu Anu to be sacrificed another of Mrs. Jerboam's gerbils either. Yes, I know they breed like flies, but that's not the point.
The sermon was one of the most tedious things I'd ever had to listen to. And as if that wasn't bad enough, then the hymns started. Why the gods wanted to listen to such droning monotony was a mystery to me, but I suspected they just liked to make the mortals suffer.
Great hymn. No words or anything.
The temptation to sink something sharp into Mooncalf's feet was getting very hard to resist.
Like I said, some matches under there, light them up and watch him dance.
Obviously a very exclusive Troll perfume. The
Eh?
label says...
Get back here! I needed to use the perfume on your feet! I mean, we need to follow them, if they have a secret sanctuary somewhere. Lewton? Lewton? I can't move. I can't do anything. Why is it... Why? Game!
I tried to follow Mooncalf, but he moved quickly and his scent was rapidly swallowed up by the stench of the Ankh.
I told you! I need to use the freaking perfume! It's a good thing I saved.
There were small...
Too bad the Zelda is not here, because I
The inner
wanna
sanctum sported a beautiful lectern.
know about
The
if there is a
plaque
Mr.
was donated to the
Fidean.
temple by Mr. Fidean, of the militant servitors of Ikebana, goddess of topiary. Searching, I discovered there was a... The space under the... I'm...
Dearly beloved, but before, firstly, we'd appreciate...
This... And is... Why the...
There. Now we can follow him. Or not, because the game decided to crash. Ain't that sweet? Ugh. So about that Scream, Gabriel, that you just used.
There were small... The inner sanctum, the plaque of the...
Crashing games are a pleasure to
The
behold.
space under the left. I
mean, this game hasn't really crashed that many times when we think about it.
Dearly beloved, but first we
what?
A lot of people have said that they've had trouble making this game run, but I have had no trouble at all. So I'm quite surprised that it crashed. Don't crash now, please.
I sprayed
There we go.
Mooncalf's feet with Sapphire's trawl perfume. That should make the little psychopath a little easier to follow.
So where's your secret sanctuary, mister? And now we need to watch Lewton walk all just out of here. Why couldn't they just transition us outside already? Why do we need to see this? I mean, it's understandable that he's going to follow Mooncalf, but why do we need to see it? This is tedious and boring. Could have transitioned to
Sapphire's
this.
perfume cut through the stench of the river like a trawl wading through a dwarf street rally. The bright reek led into the shades, the oldest and most dangerous part of the city.
Oh, we're going to the Shades?
As a wolf, I listened to what the so-called true believers were saying through one of the windows of the sanctuary.
Greetings, brethren. I call to order this extraordinary general meeting of the secret cabal of the true believers of Anu.
You smell nice tonight, boss.
What?
What is that? KC2?
What are you blathering about, Foyd? Anyway, I see we're all present.
Therma not present, boss.
Therma has to keep a low profile at the moment. Do not concern yourselves with her absence.
Why should Therma have such special status? I have important business of my own to be doing, and these interruptions aid no one.
Quiet, satrap. Mooncalf wouldn't have called us together if it wasn't important.
Indeed not. There is an investigator, a Mr. Lewton, who's been asking worrying questions. I think he may know about Nylon Ethertep.
I do now.
I still say this is madness. There must be a better way to glorify our beloved Anu without taking such risks.
What are they even doing?
You always were the spineless one, Coombe.
Silence, Kondo. As chairman, I will not permit such disputes when the meeting of true believers has just been called to order.
When can we have a dispute?
It can wait until we reach any other business.
Damn.
Shh! What is it?
I heard something outside.
But yeah,
They
nothing
say
but chicken.
bravery is what tells the men from the boys. Well, I was a wolf, so I figured I could be brave and still run away.
Uh-huh.
Mooncalf's cultists had mentioned Nylon Ethertep, but at first I didn't know what it meant.
Nylon Ethertep. It's a very Egyptian name, but nylon at the beginning makes me wonder if they're like a goddess or a god of undergarments. Or maybe stockings. Where's the Zelda when we need him? Or Eldritch? Or somebody very knowledgeable of Discworld. So what is the new location that we have opened now? Ah,
The cultist sanctuary was deep in the shades.
pretty much in the middle of it. Ah, it's the same map that we see when we get a new location opened.
For some reason, the cultists had a map of Ankh-Morpork in the sanctuary.
Huge map too. I mean, look at the size of this thing. Why is it so creepy in here? All these whisperings and such.
The sanctuary was decorated with a strange and disturbing fresco. Closely examining the fresco, I could see that one of the symbols made a frequent appearance. The recurring symbol on the fresco was like a distorted star with an eye in the center. I wasn't sure what it was. I made a sketch of the symbol in my notebook.
Burp. Alright.
I wanted to find out what the strange symbol in the sanctuary meant.
Anything else in here?
I couldn't easily take it up, but I could use it to work out some things.
Maybe we can use it to pinpoint stuff. Like, maybe there's some importance about the locations of the murders. Uh-huh.
The murders seem to be along the edge of a circle. I guess if there were any more murders, they'd take place somewhere on that circle too. In the center of the circle was the Disc Theater. Oh, I had a bad feeling about that.
Let's see, what else did we have for this?
The murders seem to be along the edge of a circle. I guess if there were any more murders in the center of...
I guess when I clicked the counterweight killings on it, that added all of them.
The murder...
Yep. I mean, he did add 3 of them.
For some reason, the cultists had a... But I could use...
Hey, Zarega. Well, I'm sure it matches the eye symbol. It's gotta. Nope. Stop it. Nope. Yep. Here. You started Castlevania 64 today. First 4 hours have been really cool. Tons of people say it's... Well, you haven't gotten to the worst parts of the game yet. You're still in the beginning. I think from videos and such that I've seen, it's about once you've played at least, let's say, a couple of more hours, you'll get to the worst parts of the game. I mean, it has some puzzles Castlevania 64, I have seen videos of reviews and such, and people always complain about it, especially one part of the game that is like a puzzle that you need to solve, that is the worst puzzle in any kind of a platforming game. It just makes the difficulty amp up from like normal to insane difficulty because of trying to solve the puzzle. So, good luck with that! Try not to lose your mind!
The map couldn't help with that.
Ah, interesting. Oh. The Disc Theater.
Who would say?
The library this time, please.
I'd like to. Very well. I will.
I got a feeling we should use the index cards to find out more information about things. Especially these. Nylon Thatep and...
The Necrotelecomnicon was a book that legend spoke of, saying that any mortal man who read it would be driven insane. I learnt about it from a copy of Necrotelecomnicon discussed for students with practical experiments that
What if I don't have water?
In this tome, there is a description of the old dark gods of the Disc, including the terrible Laddering Holler, Nylon Athatep.
Laddering Horror?
Nylon Athatep was once summoned by a series of 8 murders, forming a perfect octagram, focused at the center of the Circle C, thus releasing it from the sunken city of Leshp, where he was trapped, along with drunken Cthulhu Bapalulu. The book speculated about the whereabouts of Nylon Athatep now, but beyond him being safely imprisoned somewhere around the Circle C, it drew no conclusions.
It's a Cthulhu thing. They're trying to summon a Cthulhuan nightmare. Bear Grylls says drink your own pee, which is never a good idea in a survival situation. Well, you gotta have some kind of, hydration. So in desperate measures, desperate times.
I found the obscure star-like symbol in the Necrotelecomnicon discussed for students. It called it the sign of the eel, or the Elver sign. It was apparently a protective ward against some of the older, darker gods of the Discworld. The tome also explained how to inscribe one, the order of tracing being very important. Not that I believed any of this mumbo-jumbo, but hey, you can't afford to be too careful, right?
Well, in this situation, no. Necrotelecomnicon is mentioned in the first book. Ooh. But
I checked that I had remembered how to draw the sign of the eel correctly, and I had.
Good. Now, what else could we do? I guess we could now go to the, Disc Theater. Well, cooling yourself off with your urine is actually a good idea. Even if it makes you smell bad at all, but it's a good coating to keep yourself cool. Hey, more cats!
Everyone on the disc knows the legend of Eleanor of Tzot. At
Yeah.
least everyone knows a legend of Eleanor of Tzot.
That's the
Or
opening text.
Phoenix, or El Harib. Ask most people and they'll tell you that she was the cause of the Tzotian Wars. Of course, ask most people and they'll
That
tell
is
you
the opening
patrician
text
is a
scroll.
kind and benevolent man. Never trust what most people tell you. The real cause of the Tsortian Wars was a little-known goddess called Errata.
I think I read it better, right? Get off the stage, you suck, boo! Somebody give me a rotten tomato.
There was a flyer left behind on one of the seats. The stage, where performers go up in front of a drunken crowd and sell their dignity to earn enough money to barely live on. It made me think that all the discs a stage and all the people players. Unfortunately, I felt like I'd been cast as an extra in my own life story. I'd picked up the theater flyer from the Disc Theater. It told me about the plays in the Disc's current season.
Such as...
The 8 plays in sequence were The Happy Prince of Copperhaven, Antilogy and Cleopatra, Kensington, The King of Ankh, The Leering King, The Tyrant, Truculus and Cressylic, and Titus Diplodocus. The flyer didn't tell me anything about them, though.
Definitely not the wordplays of a Shakespeare, you know, acts. Definitely not. Certainly not. Well, now what? How can we use this flyer to our advantage?
I couldn't see a connection to the flyer.
Can we use it as a connection to this?
The map couldn't...
Alright.
Who would say?
Carlotta,
I'd like...
take your time.
You can't keep yourself away from me, can you, Lewton?
I just wanted to ask some more questions. Do you know anything about theater?
I like to go to the Disc Theater every now and then.
Why?
I enjoy the plays.
Well, apparently you don't know these plays, then.
I'll be in touch.
I'll be waiting.
Who would?
Can I see the... Still here, I see.
In a sense.
Do you know anything about this?
Do you know anything about the plays at the Disc Theater?
I cannot help you with that.
Okay. Maybe the library can help me with the...
I'd like to...
I mean, they are plays. Maybe there's a book about them. Who knows? Could be a possibility. If you find something, I'm gonna be surprised. Why am I even pointing at the monitor?
I looked up Hwell in the library and found his complete works.
Of course.
In there was a discussion of the 8 great tragedies, Hwell's bloodiest works.
Uh-huh.
From the About the Author paragraph, I learned that Hwell was a dwarf who was banished from his tribe not only because of his claustrophobia, but because of his tendency to daydream. Both undesirable, to say the least, if you work in a mine.
True.
102, and in the prime of his life for a dwarf, Hwell now worked for Vittler's Plays at the Disc Theater as one of the premier playwrights of the day. The 8 great tragedies were given in great detail. 8 plays, each with a collection of murders, usually with one more particularly gruesome or grotesque than the others, presumably for use in publicity trailers. The publicity trailers helped draw people into the theater by being towed around town to display posters. There was something suspiciously familiar about some of those murders.
So they used the play's murders to do the counterweight killings. There's the connection. So the followers of the Anu Anu are the murderers. Not some assassin from somewhere.
I'd learnt about the 8 Great Tragedies, a series of plays written by the dwarfish playwright Hwell, each featuring at least one outlandish murder. Something about the 8 Great Tragedies reminded me of recent events in Ankh-Morpork.
I wonder if we can actually find more info about this in the theater. Can I even talk to this guy? I can. Privitier.
The pompous windbag on the stage was Privitier. He went beyond being a ham. He had 2 eggs, fried mushrooms, and a gigantic rasher of bacon.
Let's green egg and ham it.
That's pretty good. You've been acting long?
One is either born an actor, or one is never an actor.
Yeah, I can just see you paddling about the womb with a script in hand.
Do you doubt my credentials as the disc's premier performer of dramatic scenes?
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned, one actor is as good as another. You come on, you speak your lines, and then you get killed. How hard can it be?
Here I stand, your slave, a poor, infirm, weak, and despised old man. Do you slight me such?
What?
You are not abreast of Hwell's fair pen, then, stranger.
The name's Lewton. And no, I don't know Hwell's work at all.
My name is Privitier, and my realm is that of tragedy and comedy. The finest arts are my purview.
Yeah, if you say so.
If you say so.
So you're an actor.
It is my
Thespian.
calling to tread the boards, and for this I am called an actor.
Translation, yes.
Yes.
Why do you talk like that?
When one is blessed with silk, one does not wear cotton.
What's that supposed to mean?
You are not familiar with the ways of the theater, are you, my boy?
No. I always thought it was about getting killed in a different way every night.
Well, that's part of it. But it's also about the lines, the pomp and the circumstance. Men in skirts. Yes, yes. The play's the thing.
To catch the cash flow of the dim.
You disapprove? A man must his living make.
If he could make it with decent grammar, I wouldn't mind.
You should come and see the spectacle. Perhaps then you would cast less scorn upon our merry ways.
You want me to go to see a play?
Come to hear the wooden dialogue.
That's not much of a quote.
It was the best I could do at short notice.
What's playing at the moment?
Troculus and Chrysalic. The tale of the frailty of woman and the stupidity of a man in love.
With a lot of bloody deaths thrown in for good measure.
But of course.
I wonder how many deaths.
Tell me about the 8 great tragedies. And don't make me regret asking you about this.
The 8 great tragedies are considered to be among the finest of Hwell's plays, each one a poignant drama with an insight into the mortal condition.
That's all you have to say?
I could tell you much more.
Such as?
I could tell of the soul-searching anguish of Village in The Happy Prince of Copperhaven, as he struggles to decide whether to avenge the death of his father, whilst in the meantime
Hamlet.
inadvertently stabbing and poisoning the entire cast in oh so many humorous misunderstandings.
Yeah, that's Hamlet.
No, that's fine.
Oh, in the dead vast middle of the night, he cries. Oh, that my lover's father had not hidden behind that tapestry whilst I was practicing with my poignard.
That's enough.
And the famous soliloquy, to be or not to be. Oh, what's the point? Nobody's listening. Or perhaps I could tell of the tempestuous love of Antilogy for Cleopatra, queen of the jelly baby.
Stop it!
Perhaps the unspeakable acts of Titus Diplodocus. If one good deed in all my life I did, I do repent it from my very soul. That's all, folks.
All right, enough.
Our revels now are ended.
Stop! I knew I shouldn't have asked.
Mm-hmm. That's all, folks. Jeez. Hey, Andrew. Welcome to the nightmare of talking to a thespian.
Tell me about the plays.
Would that I had the time to sing the praises of all Hwell's masterworks. But time is short and life is fleeting.
Just tell me about the plays.
Our current season is a groundbreaking interpretation of Hwell's most famous works, pushing back the boundaries of art and style.
Groundbreaking?
'Tis a term we of the noble calling use to describe the way each generation improves and expands upon the themes laid bare in the soul by inspiration.
In other words, your murder scenes look more and more realistic every year.
The triumph of effects.
Unfortunately, the triumph of effects over plot.
The plots are as entrancing as the day they were first written.
In other words, you haven't had any new ideas in decades.
If the way is true, why err from it?
Yeah, why fix it if it's not broken? Why fix it?
I'd keep the
Wonder if there's anything else we can talk about with this guy.
Does dead men's pointy boots mean anything to you?
I can't help you with that, my boy.
Wow, he actually spoke normally.
What would you say if I told you I suspected people are being murdered to summon a terrible entity to destroy the city?
I would say, doomsday is near, die all, die merrily.
That's from one of these silly plays, isn't it?
The King of Ankh, Act 4, Scene 1.
I was serious, you know. The disc might be the focal point for infernal forces that could destroy the city. I'd enjoy talking to you a lot more if you'd just stop quoting those damn plays. Do you realize how pathetic this makes you look?
What? Must I hold a candle to my shames?
You know, I think I'll be glad if this place does get destroyed by horrors from beyond time and space.
It'd be great publicity. Should I tell them how to spell my name?
I get a feeling that Lewton is starting to lose his interest with theater.
Well, I have to go.
Ah, parting is such sweet sorrow.
Whatever.
Whatever. Are you okay there, Privateer? I think your animation got stuck. Doesn't seem to be anything here.
I quickly transformed into a wolf and had a sniff around. There was an eerie, dark magenta scent in the theater. But what caught my attention was the magenta scent that seemed to disappear into the stage. My murderer had been here.
Interesting.
Where the scent had disappeared, there were some marks. I couldn't quite make them out, but they seemed to be a definite shape of some kind. I ran my finger around the marks casually. There was something about them that made you want to trace things on them, like a smiley face or a tic-tac-toe board. Well, something like that. Maybe something a little more sinister.
Maybe something more like a drawing that we just got? Like, say, the sign of the eel?
I traced the sign of the eel across the marks, exactly as I learned how to do in the Libraris Apocrypha. There was a faint click, and the next thing I knew, there was a passageway under the stage.
Well, that's one way to open a secret entrance. Don't go too deep. We might find an elephant's head. Wow. I wonder how they built this place. I wonder when they built this place. Anybody can... I wonder if we could guess how old this place is.
Vault. The whole sepulchral temple seemed to be formed from curves and angles that would give geometry teachers nightmares.
I mean, this must be ancient of a place.
The centerpiece to this disturbing chamber was a stone altar, engraved with a map of the Circle Sea. It looked centuries old, the kind of altar that could tell a few tales if it could talk. I was glad it couldn't.
What a yummy color of green, like a river of slurm. No, I think it's that ecto cooler stuff. It's Slimer goop. Hey, Lisa.
Using the map, I worked out where each of the 8 great tragedies had taken place. They made an octagram around the edge, just like the counterweight killings did in Ankh-Morpork. I could match each of the tragedies to one of the murders, and the positions corresponded precisely. I knew that someone was going to get dragged to death from the Wizard's Pleasance, and that some unlucky fellow was going to get eaten in Dagon Street.
Okay, so we have 2 new locations to go check. I think. Can we use the flyer on it too?
I couldn't see. Using the map, I worked out where each of the 8 great tragedies had taken place. They made an octagram around the edge, just like I could match each of the tragedies. I knew that some...
I guess we have the locations now. I don't see any new locations, though. I mean, shouldn't we have had them open? I guess we need to go in here.
I couldn't ease, but I... The murders were marking out a perfect octagram, just like the one that had been used to free Nylanethotep from sunken Lesh centuries ago. If I was right, there would be 2 more murders, one in Dagon Street and one in the Wizard's Pleasance. If I knew which one was next, I could stake it out. In the center of the octagram was the Disc Theater, which almost certainly meant some kind of cosmic evil was entombed there.
In all that green goop. Alright. Well, I guess we're going to Dagon Street. That's a huge place. I hope we don't wind up running into the Great Vigo. Why not? Vigo is a great guy. I mean, he was only stabbed, chopped into pieces, poisoned, drowned, murdered, eviscerated. But before his head died.
The moon over Dagon Street lit the rundown alley. It didn't look like anyone was around. It was as abandoned as the Octarine Parrot on open stage night. One of the shops in the street was called the Three Jolly Luck Takeaway Fish Bar. I remembered that name from somewhere. Something to do with Mr. Hong. I remember he went missing somehow. The abandoned fish bar was boarded up tight.
A fish bar. So a sushi bar, I would imagine.
I didn't like to transform in the street.
True. Not enough privacy here. Well, let's use the crowbar.
Where I'd pulled away the boards was an open window.
Hello? Anybody home? Oh, great.
There was a disturbing dark magenta scent in the fish bar, something that resonated with cosmic evil. It scared me. It scared me that anything could have such a disturbing scent. And it scared me that I could tell what color cosmic evil was.
It's a different color than our killers, because it doesn't have the...
There was definitely some similarity. The purple scent was quite distinctive. Although they were similar.
I mean, it doesn't have the octarine in it, so this is not our killer. This is something much more sinister than... Lots of debris.
The fish bar was littered with assorted debris. Amongst the debris, I found a bone that seemed a little out of place. The bone seemed out of place somehow. I wasn't sure why.
I mean, it's a big bone. From the looks of it.
I knew there was something familiar about the bone. It was a human femur.
Great.
Just like in Titus Diplodocus, someone had been dismembered and eaten. That meant there was only the wizard's pleasance to go, and the octagram would be complete.
Great! So are we gonna be late, and they're gonna be able to summon
The fish bar was full of cooking pots. Only to be expected, I guess.
I mean, how long ago was this? I mean, it can't be that long ago if we are still... Probably Mr. Hong, the proprietor of the place. I mean, he mentioned Mr. Hong. There.
The wizard's pleasance was a small, newt-haunted meadow in a horseshoe bend in the Ankh.
Newt-haunted?
Inside the grounds of the Unseen University, separated from it but connected to the university gardens by the Bridge of Sighs. On summer evenings, if the wind is blowing towards the river, it is a nice area for a stroll.
And if it's not, then it's a horrible place for a stroll. Because this place would smell of River Ankh. Hello, doggy.
I wasn't an expert on dogs. Small, proud, and ruthless.
It's the same dog that we've seen before, isn't it? Lewton, where are you going? Why are you stuck in a funny animation? He was like walking sideways. I just want you to go to the dog.
I thought about petting the dog.
The Bridge of Sighs. Lewton, where are you going? What's wrong with this place?
The pleasance was full of dense bushes. I didn't know how long I'd have to wait until something happened, but it turned out to be less than I thought. I'd suspected I'd been being followed, and I wasn't surprised to find that Al-Kali was skulking around behind me. Gods alone knows how he got into the university. But if I could do it, I guess anyone could.
Great hiding place. How did he not spot you? I have no idea. So the dog is working for you, I would imagine? Or the dog is the killer? Goodbye, Al-Kali, I would say. Well, Al-Kali's dead. You were right, Mallcats. That weren't no dog.
It was over in seconds. I was about to follow the killer's trail when I saw a familiar face.
Carlotta? What is she doing here?
Why did you carry on with the case, Lewton?
Too many people told me to stop.
I was hoping it wouldn't come to this. I like you, Lewton. It didn't have to be this way.
What do you mean?
So you're behind this, are you?
I'm just a servant. My master, Anu, is behind
But
this.
you said you...
That beast is Mooncalf's god?
Mooncalf didn't start this cult. I did. When the last human worshippers of Anu had passed on, leaving only an empty temple in their wake, the cult lived on among the lycanthropes.
Wow.
My late husband got me involved, and I came back to Ankh-Morpork to arrange
What a
everything.
plot twist.
Came back?
I thought you'd realize, Lewton. I'm Therma.
It figures.
Yeah,
You
I had a
killed
feeling.
Malachite, didn't you?
I didn't kill any of them. My master did that. We just arranged everything for him.
I had a feeling that
He's
she would be
stronger
Therma.
when we gather together and pray.
You were in the Temple of Small Gods each time there was a murder.
It was a perfect alibi.
Why was Malachite looking for you?
I'm his sister.
His sister? Hands up who can spot the big problem here.
I was adopted by Mr. and Mrs. Karst. They named me Therma. And Malachite and I grew up together.
What happened?
It's a tough life when you're a poor troll. And tougher still when you weren't born a troll. I used to sit at the table eating bread, while the rest of the family was chewing cold sandwiches. That kind of thing leaves its mark on a girl.
My heart bleeds for you.
Malachite and I broke into the von Uberwald mansion and made off with some of the Count's valuables, including that pendant you've been carrying around.
And that jeweled box in the carriage that presumably held the asp that poisoned Reagan.
That's right.
How did you and Malachite get separated?
He got caught, but he didn't tell the watch about me. I thought I'd seen the last of him. I sold most of what I got, and I was living off it comfortably. But I'd seen that painting in the hallway, and it got me thinking.
The painting that looks like you?
Exactly. I reinvented myself as a debutante, and I seduced Ulrich and married into high society. I went back to Uberwald with him, changed my name to Carlotta, and my life as a troll was forgotten.
What a witch.
Therma was dead. Long live Carlotta von Uberwald.
What a witch.
Did you know Ulrich was a werewolf?
Not until the honeymoon. That was a surprise, I can tell you. Not entirely an unpleasant one, I have to say.
How did you get involved in this cult business?
Before he died, Ulrich inducted me into the worship of Anu, and it became my mission to engineer his return to power. I recruited followers and we prayed to him, gradually awakening his consciousness. He'd been stuck in the form of a small dog on the streets of Al-Kali for decades, not even remembering who he was. As our numbers grew, Anu's power grew.
So that dog that
And
killed
eventually
Al-Kali
he
was
able to
Anu.
slip aboard a ship and steal his way here to Ankh-Morpork.
The Milka.
That's right. The Milka also stopped off at Sort, where it picked up Mundi. He was supposed to be bringing us the Sortese falchion, having stolen it from a dig at Sorta. The archaeologists didn't even know it was there. Unfortunately, what we hadn't counted on was that Mundi was a man with few scruples and even less brains to go with it. Either he approached Horst, or Horst approached him.
Probably
One
Horst.
way or another, he arranged to sell the sword to that devious troll.
Only he didn't have the sword, did he? He'd concealed it in one of the crates in the cargo hold.
We didn't know that. We just knew that Mundi had gone to ground. That's why I hired you to find him.
And when I did, your cult killed him. Only you'd expected the sword to be with him. And by the time he was dead, it was too late to ask him where he'd put it.
We couldn't believe our luck when you found the sword for us after Mundi's death. I'm sorry that my master had to stab you to get it.
Did you know I was going to get killed? Was that why you made me into a werewolf?
I suspected that things would get a little rough for you, and I believed you were too valuable an asset to waste.
I'm flattered. And the counterweight killings were your cult attempting to summon Nylonathotep by mimicking the way he was summoned before. I don't get it.
With the falchion, my master can defeat the laddering horror again, and he will grow in power, ascending to the ranks of the most powerful gods, where he belongs.
Interesting.
That's all very well, but a lot of people died for that dream. You can't just go around killing people whenever the notion strikes you. It's not polite.
What are the lives of a few people against the prize?
Regan knew, didn't he? Or at least suspected.
I don't know what he actually knew, but he suspected a lot. He'd been blackmailing me for weeks. He had to go.
Why are you telling me all this?
It's customary for the villain to explain his evil schemes when the hero is captured.
Yeah, true.
I'm no hero, and you're no villain either. We're just people.
You know it's not too late, Lewton. Join us.
Join your cult. What happens if I refuse?
There's no point in refusing. It's already too late to stop the summoning of Nylonathotep. Al-Khali was the 8th murder.
Yep.
Even now, the other cultists are gathering at the focal point for the invocation.
That would be the temple under the Disc Theater, I take it.
You're good. I'll give you that. Let's go, or we'll miss the pre-summoning.
What if I try to stop you?
Like I said, it's already too late for that. Join us, Lewton. You know it's the only choice.
I could kill you and make a run for it.
You wouldn't hurt me, would you, Lewton? After all we've been through.
You arranged the murder of your own brother, and you'd have me killed too if I got in the way.
So what? In this world, you get one chance at happiness.
You may be right. All right. I'll go along with this for now. But I'm not making any promises for the future.
That's good enough for me.
Carlotta told me she would have to bind me in case I got any foolish ideas, and then she escorted me into the depths of the temple. It looked like the whole crowd was there. As well
Always
as
with
Carlotta,
robes.
I recognized Mooncalf and Warb.
Warb?
The wizard from Saturnalia. 8 of them in all. One for each
Warb
person
was
on the
part of this?
list. But my attention was drawn to the hulking mass of Anu Anu, and the golden sword that he was wielding like it was a toothpick.
It begins.
Take your places, people. Everyone remember your lines.
Nylonathotep, who summoned thee? In accordance with the ancient pacts, we have made 8 sacrifices in the manner prescribed. Come to us.
I was filled with an overwhelming
Dark blue
sensation of
text
dread.
against black.
I
Yeah,
guess
easy to
summoning
read.
rituals have that effect on me.
It is here. Now I command you, by the power of the fashion, to bend to my will. Bend to my will, I command thee. I hold the fashion. You will obey me.
I got the impression that that wasn't supposed to happen. The next thing I knew, the temple was coming apart at the seams, and rocks were falling everywhere.
I get the feeling that your golden falchion isn't helping.
But it seemed as if Anu Anu couldn't control the unspeakable force of cosmic horror that he had unleashed, and now it was loose in the city. As if my day wasn't bad enough already.
Alright, now we got a Cthulian horror trying to take over Ankh-Morpork. Why cannot things end easily?
After the rubble had settled, I pulled myself out from under it and had a look around. The temple seemed different somehow. And not just because the roof had caved in. Anu Anu was lying in a crumpled heap on the other side of the chamber, and Carlotta was tending to his wounds. The rest of the cult had made their getaway. Everyone but Warb, whose luck had taken a permanent turn for the worse.
I guess you used the bracelet, no, the charm bracelet too much then.
Carlotta was obviously upset by Anu Anu's injuries. I guess there was a heart in that cold chest somewhere.
Yeah, the heart was only for the evil.
For a god, Anu Anu was looking in a bad way.
Well, you're summoned to the ground here, so he's kind of like a mortal right now, so...
Come on, Carlotta, let's get out of here before the rest of the roof comes down.
I'm not leaving my master.
He's not going to make it. You can at least save yourself.
Leave us, Lewton. Leave!
I tried to listen in to what Anu Anu was saying, but his voice was weak and faltering.
I should have known. The inscription.
Hey,
I
Zelda.
forgot the inscription.
Quiet, master. Conserve your strength.
You just missed out on a huge plot twist, Zelda. We're in Act 4, the final act of the game right now.
Mooncalf's cultists had mentioned Nylon Athatep, but at first I didn't know what it meant.
Which movie were you watching?
There was something about the walls that I didn't like. I think it was the way they wouldn't stop swimming.
An inscription? Ah, there is some text there.
An inscription had appeared on the wall. Maybe it had been there all the time and I just couldn't read it. I wasn't sure. It seemed to say, Quod nescient eos interficit. I didn't know what it meant. Quad meant what, but that was all I knew. The inscription had read, Quod nescient eos interficit.
Huh.
The inscription had read, Quod nescient eos interficit.
I wonder what that means. What? Oops.
It seemed to say,
Nesciunt.
Quod nescient eos interficit.
Nesciunt.
It seemed to say,
Eos interficit.
Quod nescient eos.
Eos interficit. What they know, not slay them. Okay. So what they know does not slay them. That's what it means. Interesting. So I guess they forgot something and that's what slew them.
It looked as if part of the ceiling had rearranged most of Warb's head. The only thing of interest on Warb's body was the charm bracelet, and I didn't want to take that back. I only hope he got some good luck out of it before his final payoff came. Maybe I should have warned him. Maybe he got what he deserved. Who was I to judge? Sometimes I wondered if these ancient temples were designed to fall in on themselves at dramatic moments.
Usually they do. Or at least at the end.
I searched the rubble and uncovered the golden falchion. The sword was bad luck, but I had a feeling it was safer in my hands than anyone else's.
Nice.
The golden sword had already caused me a lot of trouble. I had a feeling it was going to cause a lot more before long.
So if you want to know, Zelda, the big plot twist was that Carlotta was behind all of it. She's the one who started the whole cult of Anu Anu. And that big wolf thing that she's tending to, that's Anu Anu himself. The small dog that we've seen in some places actually was Anu Anu. And also, earlier when we were looking up for stuff about all this cult stuff, we actually went to the library and looked up stuff from... what was it? Bennigan mentioned it earlier. The Necrotelecomnicon. That's where we looked up about stuff. Yeah, Necrotelecomnicon. May I say an uncharacteristically bad word? Go ahead. You can curse here as much as you need. Bitch. I called her a witch. And apparently Nylanathatep is something that they added into the game. It's not... At least Bennigan looked it up and it was only in this game. So not any of the old gods. I mean, all of this is like supposed to be a Cthulhian thing that's happening right now. Like this is what they summoned was the Cthulhu or something. Balulu, babubu. I don't know. Some drunken old god, dark old god of ye olden days. Nyarlathotep is one of your favorite Cthulhian monsters. I mean, even they did mention Cthulhu, but it was turned into like Cthulhu or something like that. Like a very silly name. But now the tentacle monster has been released and is wreaking havoc in the city.
The terrified cultist was obviously in pain and finding it hard to walk. He wasn't going anywhere. Well, he wasn't going anywhere fast anyway.
See? Tentacles.
What's up with you?
Broke my stupid leg when the roof came in.
Which one are you?
What?
You must be Coom.
How did you know that?
I recognize your voice. Now give me one good reason why I shouldn't turn you over to the Watch.
Please, don't. I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. It was just a little fun, you know? Secret meetings and plots for world domination.
Just a little fun.
I mean, it's intoxicating.
Well, now it's blown up in your face, and at least one member of your cult is dead.
Who was it?
Warb. He had a disagreement with a large block of stone.
I don't want to do... I'm terrified. I suspect that some of the cultists might have wanted us to fail.
Really? Why?
I don't know. Just a hunch. Please don't turn me over to the Watch. I didn't do anything wrong.
Only summoned...
8 people died because of your cult.
No. I'm sorry. I should never have got involved.
Where have the others gone?
I don't know. Back to the sanctuary, I guess. They didn't really tell me much. I was only the novice.
Maybe I was getting soft in my old age, but I couldn't escape the feeling that the poor fool was just a victim of peer pressure. I guess he just wanted to belong to something, and he didn't much care what. I sympathized. In my own way. Get going. I don't ever want to see you again.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You won't regret this.
I'd better not.
Because if I see you again, I promise you, I swear to gods, something bad's gonna happen to you. I think we're in the Matrix. Because everything's tinted green.
When I went back to the mansion, the butler had some grim news for me. The Count had shuffled off his mortal coil in the recent disc quake. He was sleeping the big sleep, pushing up daisies, crossing the final frontier, booking a vacation to the underworld. Basically, he was dead. Fortunately, he'd left provisions for me in his will. He'd pay my way to the end of the case, and more importantly, he was allowing me to continue to use the library.
Woohoo!
Well, what did it matter to him who used the library now he was gone? When you're dead, you were sleeping the big sleep, and nothing much mattered to you anymore.
Taking dirt
All
nap.
the nastiness was behind you. For the rest of us, the nastiness was still all around us. And if I didn't stop that nastiness from crushing us all under its tentacles, we'd all be sleeping the big sleep. Frankly, I didn't think the afterlife would have enough beds.
Death would be extremely busy and he wouldn't like it. Wonder if we missed out on anything.
I had a look through the Necrotelecomnicon discussed for students to see if I could find any more useful information. It wasn't long before I found the phrase that had been inscribed on the wall of the sepulchral temple, Quod nescient eos interficit. It turned out to be the motto of an ancient cult, the Dark Sect of Nylonathotep, whose emblem was the triple-lobed eye. The tome told me a little of the history of the cult. It seems the mad cultists of the Laddering Horror had conspired to destroy all creation, but their attempt failed. Obviously. And they were believed to have faded into obscurity. I had a suspicion that's exactly what the cult wanted people to think. According to the book, the cult had a sacred artifact, a source of great power known as the Radiant Trapezohedron, which could destroy Nylonathotep or give him dominion over all things, if it fell into his tentacles. There was no description of it, although the author seemed to think it was something small. There was something about a cult plotting to destroy all creation that disturbed me. I had a feeling you couldn't reason with people like that.
Yeah, because they're usually pretty insane. Hey there, mister. Now that I started thinking about it, Zelda, I actually don't know Nyarlathotep of the Cthulhian monsters. At least the name is familiar, but I don't remember it at all. Insane in the membrane. Insane in the brain! Where could we go next? So many places to check, but which... At least no tentacles in here, invading our office. But there's also nothing else in here. Useless. Probably nothing. Totally useless. Nothing. Horse might not even be there anymore. That's being taken over. He's the thing under the pyramid. He's sort of a doorman to the old gods. Not as powerful, but equally terrifying. I see.
I don't know what's come over everyone, but they're acting crazy. Crazy? Isn't that a subjective term around here? What? Never mind. What sort of crazy things? People attacking each other for no good reason. And jumping to their deaths, too. We haven't seen such carnage since the rule of Lord Snapcase. We've got riots out there.
Lord
They're not
Snapcase?
even being started by dwarves. I've never seen anything like it. It's going to get worse. How can you tell?
Snapcase?
Trust me, this is only the beginning.
Snapcase? And where Nyarlathotep went, rest vanished, for the small hours were rent with the screams of nightmare. He's an old patrician. Ah. Well, of course, because they were talking about the rule of Snapcase. I was just wondering what kind of a patrician.
I'm looking for a trapezohedron. It's an artifact of great power. A trapeze or what? Is that something they have at circuses? A trapezohedron. It's a geometric shape. Oh, yes, those geometrics. Yes, always coming up with new ideas. Ha, what is it this time? A screw that makes water flow upwards? A bath that apples drop into? Forget it, Nobby. For you, vocabulary is just a word that's hard to spell, isn't it?
Extremely difficult.
Does the phrase quod nescient eos interficit mean anything to you?
That's one of them old languages, isn't it? Let me see. I was never much good with languages. Four?
Forget it. Have a nice day. You're not going to believe this, but I have to tell you anyway. There's a cult at work in the city, and if we don't stop them, they're going to destroy the city at the very least, and probably a lot more beside. Frankly, I don't know who else to turn to, and I thought I might be able to get you on my side.
You're right.
That I can get you on my side?
Nah, that I'm not going to believe it.
Of course.
I'm sorry, Lewton. Coming back from the grave is one thing. I mean, we all know that it happens all the time, don't we? But cults plotting to destroy the city.
It's happened before.
Sorry. You just pulling my leg. We'd know about it.
And now you do. I've just told you.
Really? Got any evidence?
Well, we got the Golden Falchion, the Elver Signs. That's about it.
I didn't want to mention that they'd think I was mad.
Can't help you with that, Squire. Can't help you with...
I wasn't going to show a priceless... Catch you later, Nobby.
Yeah, right, Lewton.
Okay, så Nobby var så fra helvete.
The Temple of Small Gods seemed deserted when I returned there. I could hear mad laughter echoing inside.
Mooncalf has gone crazy. Not a big surprise. But no Malaclips at all?
Mooncalf? Is that you?
Leave this place. Begone. All are cursed. All will be destroyed.
It was Mooncalf, all right. What happened, Mooncalf?
Mother was right. I should have become a tax collector. It's good money, Mooncalf, she said. Better than you learn with that cult foolishness. You've got to provide for your future. Now look at me. I have no future.
None of us have a future unless we can stop Nylon Athatep.
Ah! Don't say that name. Don't say that name.
You mean this name?
How can I stop Nylon Athatep?
Don't mention that name!
Okay, let's try a different approach.
After the summoning, the words quod nescient eos interficit.
Yet again, his voice
What
changed.
does that mean to you?
No. No, it didn't. That temple doesn't exist. It never happened.
He's in
Yes, it
denial.
did.
No! No, it didn't! It never happened!
Can you tell me anything about the radiant trapezohedron?
They always hated me. Even as a child. They never liked me.
About the trapezohedron.
They always ruined my plans. They never liked me. Nobody likes me.
I was hoping for something a little less personal and a little more useful, Mooncalf.
Well, we're not gonna get anything out of him.
I decided I'd better come back later when Mooncalf was slightly less psychotic.
Like never, I would imagine. Still can't go inside, even though the guards are gone. Let's go check up on our friends. How
When
they're...
I went back to Leonard's cell, it was lacking a large part of the wall.
Uh-huh.
The disc quake must have taken its toll on the palace.
Yeah.
Leonard and two conkers were still working on the flapping wing flying device like nothing had happened.
I bet they didn't even notice.
Just a few more questions, if you wouldn't mind. What is that thing?
To my flapping wing, I had put it to one side.
What was... Well, if... Either of you heard of Nylon Athatep?
That's a familiar name. I believe that's the name of one of the old dark gods.
Do you know anything more about it?
Sorry, no.
Okay.
Does the phrase quod nescient eos interficit mean anything to you?
Where is that familiar to?
You recognize it?
Yesness. It is to be the motto of one of the elder cults. I am not remembering of which.
A cult, not the cult of Anu Anu.
Oh, with sureness that is not to be so. Older cult than that even, but cannot be remembering of what?
How about the cult of Nylon Athatep?
Have you heard of the radiant trapezohedron?
What is this being?
Well, I don't really know. It's a source of great power. That's the only thing I'm sure about.
What is being a trapezohedron to mean?
It's a type of crystal in which all the faces are trapeziums.
And a trapezium?
A type of quadrilateral with no parallel sides.
No, that's a trapezoid.
No, a trapezoid has two parallel sides of different lengths.
That's a trapezium.
No, it's not.
Where are your family from anywhere near Genua?
My grandfather was. What's that got to do with anything?
Genuine geometry has slightly different definitions to Ephebian geometry. I tend to go by Legibus's definitions in his geometries. Have you read it?
This trapezodendron.
Trapezohedron.
All sides would be consisting of squashed squares.
Well, that's a slightly crude summary, but essentially correct.
That's it. That's the jewel I have been seeking.
Really?
Much yesness. Just like that is being, but with gold platings.
And you were looking for this, right? How close were you to finding it?
I am of some sureness that it is to being in Ankh-Morpork.
Quite
and
going
I am
getting.
of the believing that this arrangement of stars is of great importantude in its discoverage.
Can I see that?
Please, take if you wishing. I am not to be having much chances to look myself now. I would be of delighted nature if you would continue the looking for me.
I will. What a coincidence that that's the thing that he was after all this time.
Two Conkers had given me a star map that was supposed to lead to the jewel he was looking for. I didn't know what to make of the map. I was never good at astrology.
Well, we got two places that we could check with the map. Let's go to the library first. Deviant art, I see.
The library had a large collection of books on astrology. Because the disk is situated on a giant turtle that flies through space, the arrangement of the stars changed every few decades.
But it's a joke that needs to be made.
The constellations in front and behind the turtle stayed more or less the same, but the constellations at the side changed with enough frequency that a new volume of Paddy Moore's The Night Sky had to be published almost every other year. In the most recent volume, I found the stars from Two Conkers' map. Unfortunately, I didn't learn anything particularly useful, except that the alignment shown would only occur at a particular point in time. If the book was right, the time was now.
Alright. So how does that help us, really?
Two Conkers had given me a... Two Conkers had... I didn't know what... I was never...
So I guess the only other place to go for with the map is this. Don't crash! Shit. I said don't crash! God damn it. That's 2 crashes in one stream. What the hell's happening with this game now? When did I save last time? I'm still all the way back here. Right. Well, at least I know what to do. Please, game, crash all the time. I would really appreciate it if you would crash all the time, especially this close to the end of the game.
Just a few... Have you...
What is...
Well,
Well, that's it.
It's good to know also good to know that they have different kinds of geometries in Discworld, not just one geometry.
Just a few... Either... Does the... But... I decided to leave...
Failing that using good manners helps, like Beavis and Butthead did when they were trying to take a dump. Well, we all know that H.P. Lovecraft was a huge racist.
Collection of books on astrology. Because the disc is situated on a giant turtle that flies through the constellations in front and behind the turtle stayed more. In the most recent volume, I found... Unfortunately, I didn't learn anything particularly useful, except that the alignment...
I mean, he had a black cat that he named the N-word. That's how much he had respect for the black people. Oh, he was super open about it. I mean, he wrote even articles in newspapers or something about it. About how he hated them.
That all the cultists would be as easily intimidated as Coom. I was wrong.
You're very sharp, Mr. Lewton. You've done a very sharp thing. Maybe even sharp enough to cut your own throat.
You must be Kondo.
I'm flattered. How did you know?
I recognize your voice. You tried to kill me with that crossbow once before.
Not really, Goblin.
It's silver-tipped before you get any heroic ideas. The Dark Sect isn't as sloppy as the cult of Anu.
A cult within a cult.
We couldn't believe our luck. Mooncarve and Therma were looking for people to join their cult, and they actually wanted to summon Nyarlathotep. Can you believe that? Do you have any idea how rare it is that someone wants to summon the laddering horror for anything other than wreaking havoc and destruction?
Who's we?
Oh, no, it's not that easy. Do you think I'm the overconfident villain who reveals his whole plot to the hero shortly before placing you in an overly complex life or death situation that you then escape from at the last minute?
Yes.
It might make life easier if you were.
Real life isn't like the clickies, Lewton. The good guys don't always win.
What makes you think I'm the good guy?
I don't care what side you're on, Lewton. All I care about is that we are victorious and that everything is destroyed.
I just don't understand why anyone would want to destroy the whole of creation. If you want to die, why not just kill yourself?
I'm going to achieve something with my life, Lewton. Something that no one will ever forget.
Everyone's going to be dead. No one is going to remember anything.
And that's an achievement no one else can claim.
You're insane.
Totally.
That's what my psychiatrist said. I had to kill him too.
Of course you did.
He knew too much, just like you.
Some people say that when you're about to die, your life flashes before your eyes. For me, the world seemed to go into slow motion.
I told you, Lewton, the good guys don't always win.
Very true, but they try much harder.
I'm dead, aren't I?
Yes, you are.
Am I going to spend eternity suffering in the pits of hell for what I've done?
If that's what you want.
Oh, I can't believe I'm not going to find out how all this ends after all the work I put into it.
It's never fun being taken off a project you've worked hard on.
Hard on.
That's the last time I get so involved in my work.
How right you are.
When I came to, I wasn't sure if I was dead or alive. That seemed to be happening to me a lot.
Hello again.
Have you come for
Hello,
me?
darkness,
No.
my old friend.
I was just passing through and I thought it would be polite to say hello.
Hello.
Isn't that what you're supposed to do with acquaintances?
Yes.
If you want to scare them to death.
Sorry. I'm not good in social situations.
Say hello to Rincewind.
It must be hard to fit in when you're a 7-foot-tall skeleton with a scythe.
I'll see you later.
That doesn't fill me with confidence.
That, I'm afraid, is your problem.
I'd killed Kondo, but at least he hadn't killed me. On Kondo's body was an amulet. It had to be worth finding out what it was, so I took it.
That's a fidget spinner. That's not an amulet.
Kondo's amulet has a symbol on it that looked like an eye, but an eye with 3 protruding lobes.
But like I said earlier, should one snub a person's work because the author has bad morals? No. I mean, people enjoy Lovecraft stories because they're good horror stories. And like when it comes to Hollywood, like many actors were, they found all these stories about the actors like Kevin Spacey, and then there's, Bill Cosby and all those. I mean, you cannot slander their work before all of this happening. Like, Kevin Spacey is still a great actor. Like, all of the movies that I've seen him, he's great in them. You cannot slander the person for previous work. But like Goblin said, a lot of people in this day and age would disagree, because they slander his movies after the news came out. Speaking of great movies, Pet Sematary is in the telly. The original? The original Pet Sematary or the horrible remake? The Cosby Show is a perfect example of that. The people who bash it because of current events are dumb. Exactly. Cosby Show was fantastic. It was a great comedy show. You shouldn't slander it because of what Cosby has done in the future. Thank God I watched the movie and read the book before becoming a father. Now that's some dark humor right there. I haven't seen the remake because I've heard so many bad things about it. I don't care to see the remake, the Pet Sematary remake. Strange, I never made the connection that Dennis Crosby of the Star Trek fame is the mother. Yeah, she is. Cosby Show was a good show, but I think people get emotional when they see his face on there. Yeah. But really, the whole point is, what they have done now in real life should not affect anything that they've done in the past. The remake is book word by word, which says enough. Ooh, that's a risky thing if you do it verbatim. I mean, it can work in some aspects, but I've heard that it didn't work out that well. Maybe I should actually give it a watch then, if it is following the book word by word. Because if you ask me, which Shining is the better version, the Stanley Kubrick one, or the Shining TV series that they made later? The TV series is the book turned into a screenplay, while Stanley Kubrick totally rewrote the whole thing. And if you ask me, they're both great. Stanley Kubrick had a great vision, and it's a great horror movie, but I still enjoy the TV series as well a lot, because it's, you know, word for word from the book. Dr. Sleep, yes, I've seen the movie. I haven't read the book, though. I've seen the sequel, but the movie only. I haven't read the book. No, we are not talking about Dr. Sleep. Goblin just mentioned if I've seen the sequel, and I have seen the movie. We're talking about Wonder Years, yep. We're talking about Malcolm in the Middle. Casino Royale with Daniel Craig is the book scene by scene, only adapted when they must. Yep. And it worked. If you ask me, Casino Royale is a great movie. And Fred Savage as Geralt of Rivia, the new Witcher. Yep. I can't use the map? Okay. And I thought I had to come here to use this.
I couldn't see a connection. That had nothing to... I couldn't see a... The octogram didn't...
Okay. Well, since I've got the amulet, let's go find out about the amulet then. Yeah, Fred Savage was never a bad actor, but he was a child actor. So when he grew up,
the amulet was
other
mentioned
stuff.
in a copy of The Joy of Sects. It was the three-lobed eye, the emblem of the followers of Nylanathatep, the so-called Dark Sect, who plotted nothing less than the destruction of the whole of creation. Party guys. I bet they were a lot of fun at dinner parties.
I tend to like a lot of stuff that others don't, like all Star Wars movies, for example, or that many don't like. Yeah, Fred Savage still appears here and there, but he's not a full-on actor. He hasn't been a full-on actor in a long time. You were nervous when you met Denise Crosby. You had a crush on her when you were a kid. I mean, I can be sometimes the same way, Gunfutsu, that I like a lot of stuff that other people would be like, ugh, that's disgusting. I mean, I, personally, kind of enjoyed all the new 3 Star Wars movies. I mean, they are not great. They can be just carbon copies of the original trilogy, but they still had moments there that I really enjoyed. Just don't mention the new trilogy to Specky at all. He'll explode. He'll go into full-on old man mode. He'll start waving his cane like, "You stupid Star Wars movie!" Of course, he'll be speaking in Greek, but, you know. All we hear is a... Now, where could we go next? What can we do with this amulet that we have? Maybe we can show it to Mooncalf.
The Temple of Small God.
Let's see if you have anything to say about this.
Mooncalf? Is that you? Leave! This amulet is the mark of that entity that you and your cult summoned. I found it on Kondo's body. Does it mean anything to you?
It means that Kondo is a traitor. He won't be the only one. They all hate me.
Boo-hoo.
I do not wish to talk with you.
I just have a few more questions first. The star map wasn't something...
Leave me!
Can you tell me...
They always...
I decided I'd better come back later when Mooncalf was slightly less psychotic.
Did you know a lot of people have the dumb claim that the role of Paul, Kevin Arnold's friend, in The Wonder Years was actually Marilyn Manson as a kid? Yeah, I've heard a lot of stuff like that. You're more of a horror and martial arts chick. Cool. I love horror and martial arts movies. Then again, action. I like a lot of action movies, horror, science fiction. That's my stuff. Problem with new Disney era is that they are a committee work of a cash grab and not even intended to be anything original or memorable. Kind of, yeah. And not just kind of, they are. It's hard to get anything original from Disney these days other than a cash grab. Where should we go? I really feel like I should pressure him.
I do not wish to...
I'll leave. I just have a...
You like monster and alien horror, not disturbing social, mental, or physical horror. I like all kinds of horror. Psychological horror and thriller are the best, though.
This amulet is the... I found it. Does it mean...
It means that
Kondo wasn't a follower of Anu Anu at all. He worships the laddering horror. I think he might have been mad.
Madness! Yes. Sweet singing in my ears.
Seems to be fashionable at the moment. Now listen to me. I need to know who else might have been a double agent.
Who? I'll tell you who. They all hated me. Especially Foyd.
Foyd? The troll?
Yes, the troll. I never liked him. I don't trust trolls.
Where is he now?
How would I know? He wouldn't tell me. He never liked me. Nobody liked me!
Did he say anything to you?
He said he was going to change his identity, make a run for it. Such a coward. Stupid troll.
What about the rest of the cult? Where can I find them?
It's too late for everyone. Nothing can save us now.
Where's your faith? Don't you believe that Anu Anu is the god of gods?
No! I renounce my faith. Anu Anu betrayed me. He betrayed me!
Jeez.
Mooncalf jumped screaming through the stained glass window and began to climb the temple. I could hear Mooncalf ranting as he climbed up the outside of the temple.
He's gone completely insane.
I give my faith to one God, and it brings about the destruction of everything.
Well, the destruction of everything was because of the other god that you summoned.
Gods are nothing but trouble.
You should see it.
You can't trust them. You can't trust them. We don't need them.
We need them. Where is he going?
I'm letting atheism into my heart as my savior.
I think he's going back in. I think he's going back inside the temple in a different way.
I renounce all gods.
Yeah, that was not a good idea to announce. The gods really don't like an atheist.
I can't believe I survived that fall.
You didn't.
You didn't.
Your death then.
You've heard of me? I'm flattered.
Oh, what were the odds that I'd get hit by lightning just as I renounced all gods?
About 1 to 1, I'd say. You're not the first. Although I think you're the first to do it from the top of their own temple. Full marks for style.
Thank you, I think.
Don't mention it. I try to make the process as enjoyable as possible.
So what happens next?
That depends on you. But you've renounced all the gods, so I doubt you'll be off to any of the heavens.
Uh-huh.
Or hells, for that matter.
Uh-huh. Limbo is where you're going.
What about reincarnation? I always like the sound of that.
Well, it's not really up to me. But if you do come back, can I advise you to be careful what you say on the top of religious monuments?
I'll see what I can do. Do you know, I don't feel so dedicated anymore.
Death gives you a whole new perspective on life.
I should never have become a zealot. My mother was right. I should have been a tax collector.
Perhaps in the next lifetime, eh?
Say what you like about Mooncalf. He knew how to put on a show. Unfortunately, he hadn't left me with many leads, although finding Foyd wasn't a bad idea. I had already a lot of practice getting information out of trolls. All I had to do was work out where he was.
As Rincewind said in the books, that like standing on a field in a copper armor in a thunderstorm and calling the gods assholes. Cheap jump scares are the suckiest form of horror. They are. And Hollywood horror movies rely way too much on jump scares. I mean, usually the jump scares that they have in Hollywood horror movies are so easy to tell when it's coming up. Because they have that moment of you waiting, it's gonna happen soon, come on, happen already. And when it happens, you're like, there it is. Does it scare you at all? Because you're expecting it already. And when it happens, you're like, yeah, you did it.
I hadn't seen Horst since I arranged his meeting with Laredo. Wherever Horst was, he wasn't at his quarters.
We need to find Foyd.
I decided to track down Foyd. I figured it wouldn't be hard to get information out of him.
Where could he be, though? Where could we start? I've only watched the Up 2 times. First time we discovered my little brother absolutely hates the bird. Second time I discovered I can't listen to Michael Giacchino's score without tearing up. That piano theme right at the first 50 minutes tears me up every fucking time. The beginning of Up is something that always gets the tears rolling. Every damn time. When it comes to Pixar movies, this guy is a big crybaby. I can play it, but that doesn't have the same effect. Yeah, because you're just playing the music, but when it's in the, you know, with the scene. No, you're not the only cold-hearted person here, but you're the only one who's missing tear ducts. I think that's your problem, Goblin. You don't have tear ducts. You're like the Terminator. You can understand emotions, but you cannot convey them. Yeah, Up is the balloon movie, yes. I cry every time I watch Toy Story 3. Me too. Bawling like a baby at the end. Shrek movies I've never been a big fan of. I've seen, but then again, I've only seen 1 and 2. Don't care about the rest. I don't want to see them. 1 is good, the second one was also good, but I don't care about the rest of the Shrek movies. I leave it at 1 and 2, that's enough for me. I'm more of a Pixar guy than DreamWorks. I might have to install an emotion plugin on my brain. I think Up was too long, but I guess I'm alone with that opinion. Not really, Banniken. There are some moments in Up that drag along a little bit. I do agree with that it's a bit too long, but still a good movie. Pretty much all the emotion in Up is in the first, like, 25 or 30 minutes. Then it just starts to drag on a little until we get to the third act of the movie. It's the middle of Up that is kind of a drag, in my opinion. But you can, like Gunfut says about Totoro, you can never go wrong with Miyazaki movies. My Friend Totoro, Nausicaa, Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, The Howling Castle, all of those great movies. Kiki's Delivery Service, great. Ponyo, all great movies. Never can go wrong with those. Also, really like The Croods. Not seen that one. Arthur Christmas, though. I've seen that one. That was a good movie. I've only seen it once, but I enjoyed it. 1 and 2 are great. Who can say the whole scene in 2 with the giant gingerbread man and the I Need a Hero music was bad? The only movie I cannot watch, though it's my all-time favorite, is The Lion King. A real heartstring puller, though, was that Futurama episode with the dog. Everybody talks about that as the episode that it's a heartstring puller, but not for me. But then again, not the biggest fan of Futurama here. He gives up and goes back to sleep. Enjoy your sleep, Gabriel. The reason I cannot watch The Lion King is it makes my eyes water uncontrollably. Just the intro music. Huh. Now that I think about it, I don't think I ever cried during Lion King. I mean, great movie, but... no. Not even when, you know, Long Live the King. No, didn't cry. I guess Disney movies don't make me cry, but Pixar movies do. I'm trying to think of any... Let me think. I've seen so many Disney movies. Any Disney movie that made me cry, let me think. Snow White? No. Cinderella? No. Sleepy Beauty? No. No, same here as Zelda. I saw it when it came out, pretty much. The Lion King. But then again, I was already a teenager at that point. But I've always enjoyed the cartoon movies and cartoons in general. And I've never been afraid to cry. I didn't even cry at Bambi as a kid or adult. Yeah, me neither. It's only because of the Bambi is... Bambi, I have to say about Bambi. Bambi is one of the funniest moments of tragedy in history.
Even with Al-Khali's death, I still felt like I was being watched. I couldn't see anyone following me, though.
Just let me explain. Let me explain why Bambi has the funniest tragedy moment in film history. Think about it. If you've seen Bambi, think about the moment. That they're escaping from the man. And then we hear the gunshot. Bambi meets the king of the forest. And it's a very tragic moment that is going to make everybody cry because Bambi's mother was just killed. And it's such a tragic moment. And then scene changes to it's springtime. It's like, what the hell were they thinking? His mood changed from super sad to happy as can be, and we're gonna have sex now because it's springtime. It's like, what the fuck were they thinking back then? That's why it's one of the funniest tragedy moments in his film history. Remember the movie Fox and the Hound? Yeah? Now that I think about it, Fox and the Hound might be the only Disney movie where I actually cried. But I don't remember the movie. I haven't seen that in 30 years. But I kind of remember getting very emotional with The Fox and the Hound. It might be the only Disney movie that really got me emotional. But then again, I was a kid back then. If I watched it now, maybe I should rewatch The Fox and the Hound because I haven't seen it in such a long time. Just to see if I will get emotional again. Natural Fawn Killers. I only heard about that goblin, never played it. It's like the California Games episode of JonTron with the happy music set over the death of the surfer. Yep. Nobby, do you know where Foyd is?
Things are looking busy in here, Nobby.
Yeah, I don't know what's come over everyone, but they're acting crazy.
Crazy? Isn't that a subjective term around here?
What?
Never mind. What sort of crazy things?
People attacking...
Try this. I'm trying to find a troll named Foyd. Any idea where he is?
Sorry, never heard of him.
Of course. Of course you would be the one that I should never go talk to.
Yeah.
Huh. You're here. Okay, Rodan.
You're back.
Back?
Had I gone somewhere?
Yes.
Here we go again.
Here we go again.
I'm looking for someone named Foyd. Do you know them?
Foyd. Foyd.
Yes.
No.
He's a troll.
No. Definitely haven't seen any trolls.
What about Malachite?
Yes, you have. Malachite was staying here.
Oh. Yes. Well, no trolls apart from Malachite.
Rodan was hiding something. But what? Given the trapezohedron's history, the amulet, I didn't want to show the I wasn't. Does Quad Nessie and Eos Interficit mean anything to you?
That's familiar.
What the heck is wrong with this guy? It's like he doesn't know how to think.
Rodan wasn't good at remembering details like his name or my name or what year it was.
Or even how to word good.
Nylon Athetep was important. I didn't... They'd think... What do you know about the goddess Errata?
I really don't think I know anything about that.
Either mercury poisoning or he keeps drinking from the River Ankh. I would imagine that he's the type of a person who would drink from the River Ankh.
The jewel was... Do you know a troll by the name of Jasper Horst?
Yeah. Where do I know that name from?
It wasn't hard to lose patience with Rodan. Every day probably took him by complete surprise.
That was the... pressure him somehow, come on!
I guess you'd better get back.
Samael, tell me that you can actually help me now. Please?
Samael, Mr. Do you know... Sorry. Do you know where I can find a troll called Foyd? I would...
Damn it, Samael!
Thanks, no problem.
You're my only hope. I hate that guy. I'm gonna get a steak and skewer you with it. Because you're useless! I highly doubt that we're gonna find anything about Foyd in here. Somebody's barbecuing outside.
I didn't really know how to look that up in the library.
That is the smell of burning wood. Speaking of animation and Disney stuff, have any of you ever seen the animations by Cas Van de Paul? Lion King recap, Bambi recap, and so on. I don't think I've seen those. Mannequin, you know about trolls. You
Can we
shouldn't be...
talk? I know I can.
and you can at least make intelligible noises.
Should have realized that he's the one to talk to about trolls.
Do you know where I can find a troll called Void?
You ask too many questions to be healthy in this town.
Do you know a troll?
I know a lot of... That doesn't...
What do I need to do with you, huh?
The amulet... I did... This... I...
I got it in right away, Goblin. Pixar all the way. So, if I can... where should we go? It seems like Ronan is the best option. This is not where I clicked. It really seems that Rodan is the best option, but he ain't talking.
They looked like ordinary bandages, but at some point they'd been soaked in plaster. What they were doing in Rodan's workshop was anyone's guess.
Rodan! What have you been hiding?
I have to ask some questions.
Okay.
You dropped these over by Malachite's spot.
Oh, did I? Thank you. What are they?
They're bandages. Only the funny thing is, they're covered in plaster.
Really?
I suppose you were making some kind of modification to one of your statues.
Yes, that's right.
Only the funny thing is, none of the statues have changed. Perhaps you could explain that. Shall I tell you what I think? I think you're operating as an illegal plastic surgeon for trolls on the lam. Half-inch on the nose here, a bit extra on the chin. Even their own mother wouldn't know them, eh?
But I never do anything illegal, honestly.
Don't worry, I'm not going to turn you over to the watch. I just want some information.
Information?
Yeah. I know that you're not the best person to come to for information, given your memory.
Yes, that's what makes me a good plaster surgeon. I can never remember who my patients are.
Do you work here?
Not usually. No. I usually work wherever they need me.
But you had to do Malachite here because he didn't have anywhere to go.
Malachite. Malachite.
Oh, come on. He was right here in the workshop.
Oh, that troll.
Yeah, that troll.
Yes, I did him.
That's what I thought. So you're a sculptor, then? Why do I get the... Did you work on a troll named Void?
It's always so nice that we have to watch this animation to the end before he talks.
Void.
All right, I can't give you a description. All trolls look the same to me. But if you worked on him, it'd have been recently. Have you worked on a troll in the last day or so?
Yes, I worked on someone down by the river recently.
A street name would be nice.
I'm really hopeless with names.
How do you find people's houses?
I'm really good at taking directions.
Well, where was this troll that you worked on?
You walk to the river Ankh, turn right, and then take the 3rd street on the right. It's opposite an abandoned shop.
An abandoned shop? Thanks. I think I can find that.
Hooray!
I guess you'd better get back to your work.
We actually got some information out of Rodan. So it's pretty much Dagon Street then. Because that's where the abandoned fish shop is. Yep.
The door was shut tight.
Not for long.
Floyd, are you there?
No, there's no one named Floyd here.
Don't lie, Floyd. Firstly, I recognize your voice. And secondly, I've spoken to Rodan. Don't worry, I'm not gonna cause you any trouble.
Well, looks like he's in trouble already.
The big, dumb troll was lying almost motionless on the floor. The floor had seen better days.
And better places.
Someone had painted the sign of the eel on the floor. Floyd must have been looking for protection from the laddering horror. I guess he wasn't as stupid as he seemed. Or maybe his self-preservation was strong enough to cut through his stupidity.
Well, it's a cold night outside, so that makes him smarter.
All you have to do is cooperate with me, and I'll leave you alone.
Were yous followed?
No, I've got cautious about that recently.
What do you want?
Need to ask you a few questions.
Nice place you have here.
Cut the small talk. Just ask yous questions and get out.
Alright. Straight to the business.
Have you had any dealings with a shifty troll named Jasper Horst?
Horst? I know the name, but not the troll it goes with.
Tell me about Nylanethatep.
No! Ask me something else.
Were
Okay.
you part of the Nylanethatep worshippers?
Not tell yous nothing.
Who are you running from, Floyd?
Not saying nothing.
Well, he's obviously running from a Nylanoth.
Do you know what quad nescient eos interficit means?
That's the thingy. Quad nescient CEOs interficit.
The thingy? What does it mean to you?
Dunno.
I could very quickly lose. Did anyone ever mention the radiant trapezohedron to you, Floyd?
The radiating trapezoedron.
I'll take that as a no.
Alright.
The star map... I have the Falchion. I think it might be possible to stop Nylanethatep using the sword, but I need to know how.
Dunno. They didn't tell me nothing like that.
Are you telling me that you were part of a secret cult, but you didn't know anything that was going on?
Well, I did what Mooncalf told me most of the time.
Because he was the leader, you mean?
Well, he was the figurehead, but I don't know if he was the leader.
Well, that's the
Then
same
why
thing.
were you following Mooncalf's instructions?
He was my contact. That's how we stayed in touch. Use contact keeps you in touch with what goes down.
I see.
Well, Carlotta was really the leader of the cult.
Does this amulet mean anything to you?
Yeah, that does look familiar. That's Satrap's.
This belongs to Satrap? Are you sure?
Sure, I'm sure. Saw it round his neck.
And where is he now?
Dunno.
Everyone in the cult had a contact, right?
That's right.
So who was Satrap's contact?
That was Galid.
And where can I find Gelid?
Dunno. but I think he worked as a porter up at the university.
Ah.
That's all I need to know. Thanks.
So he must be the Bledlow.
Let's hope we don't meet again, Foyd.
I doubt we will.
It had been a while since I'd been to the new hall, and I had a bad feeling about what Mrs. Folmes would have to say to me if she saw me.
Mr. Lewton, I was wondering if you'd turn up again.
Can I come in?
No, you're fired. Worst bedmaker I ever hired.
Listen, I have to get inside the university. There's a dangerous cult trying to destroy the city, and I need to talk to someone inside.
That's what they all say. Now goodbye and don't come back.
That wasn't what I wanted to hear.
Right. How the heck are we gonna get in?
Can I come in?
No, go away. You're fired and that's that.
Gotta find a way to get in there somehow. Nobby, can you help me with this? I know you're useless.
I need some more answers.
There's gotta be something you can do.
I need to get into the unseen university, and I want you to help me do it. How? Can't you get me some kind of warrant?
Wow, that actually worked.
No, absolutely not. Vimes would go spare if he knew I'd given a search warrant to you.
Never mind.
A search warrant? Yeah, it's a piece of parchment from the patrician allowing us to search a premises. Or is that a premise? Well, I need one. I can't do it, Lewton. It's more than the job's worth. The survival of the city might depend on it. You'd say anything just to get your own way. All right, if that's the way it's going to be. How did you get into my office the other day, Nobby? The door was open. No, it wasn't. I always lock my door. In that neighborhood, my coffee maker wouldn't last 10 minutes if I didn't. Well, I found my way in. Let's just leave it at that, eh?
How did
How
you?
would Vimes
Yeah.
feel if he learned that you'd been breaking and entering onto private property just to fill your own pockets? You're not going to tell him, are you, Lewton? He'd go spare. Well, you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. What would I want my back scratched for? I mean, I'll ignore your transgression if you get me a warrant to let me into the university. I don't know about this, Lewton. I think... Act now. You can think about it later. Okay. Wait here.
Who else
if
would
I
burp
couldn't
like
count
that?
on him as a friend, I could always count on him as a coward. Now get out before somebody sees you. Consider me gone. Catch you later. Yeah. I'd managed to get a search warrant from Nobby.
This'll get us to the unseen university. Sure.
Open up! Open up!
Hold on, hold on. What is it? Oh, it's you.
I have here a signed parchment from the oblong office allowing me access to university grounds.
Let me see that.
You'll see it's completely in order.
All right, you can come inside. Where did you get this from?
I'm a private investigator. I got this through legitimate channels.
What sort of legitimate channels?
That's not for me to discuss.
This is most aggravating. Right, here's what's going to happen. You wait here, and I'm going to go and have a word with the watch. If this checks out, then I won't have any choice but to let you in.
Okay.
If it doesn't, I'll be back with the watch to have you arrested.
Sure.
Is that clear?
Perfectly.
Don't touch anything, don't go anywhere.
Sure.
Do I make myself clear?
Yes.
Perfectly.
I don't like you, Lewton, and I don't trust you, but you'd better not cross me on this. I'll be back shortly.
I look forward to it. Sheesh. What did she think she'd do to me? Choke me with a duster? Now to find Gelid. I'd have to be fast. There was no telling what Foams would do when she got back. I certainly couldn't count on Nobby to back me up when the old battle axe came storming into the watch house.
So let's find this Gelid, who should be the guy here. Where? Is it blood?
I noticed that there were blood stains on the carpet.
There's
the
no
scent
carpet.
Of it was overpowering. I couldn't stop myself. The scent of blood made me lose control, and I transformed into my wolf form. I followed the trail of blood from the concourse up onto the rooftops. I found the Bledlow's body by the observatory. No attempt had been made to hide it. I don't think the murderer cared. I could hear voices coming from inside the observatory, and even though my better judgment said to stay away, my curiosity drew me on. I hoped there was a limitation to how many times curiosity could kill the werewolf.
Ah, cutscenes. Nice golem.
I made my way into the observatory, and inside was a wizard whose voice I recognized. Satrap. I wasn't sure what he was doing, but it couldn't be good.
The stars are right! A bit further! Now, left! Left a bit!
A golem was operating the cranks for the observatory's main telescope, and Satrap was calling out instructions. I guess he was looking for something.
Possibly what's on the star map.
Mr. Lewton, do come in. I've been expecting you.
You
You've
have?
been using your magic to spy on me.
No, I saw you through the telescope.
Mind telling me what you're doing?
Oh, the same as everyone else. Waiting for the end of all creation.
All creation?
Well, Nylonathotep might only destroy Ankh-Morpork to begin with, but I'm sure it will get around to destroying everything sooner or later.
Even Altuin?
It's all just a matter of time.
So you're the leader of the dark sect of Nylonathotep, then?
Lewton, I am the Dark
Gasp.
Sect. They would be nothing without me.
Even Carlotta?
And you're a wizard?
The professor of astrology, as it happens. I acquired the job only recently, although it has been empty for a while. Mathom was interested in the post, but I was fortunate enough to dispose of him as part of the summoning ritual.
So there was some internal politics involved in that murder.
Oh, make no mistake, most of those 8 murders served another purpose.
Another?
People don't become cultists because they want to help the gods out. They know that it's a good way to get what they want and to justify whatever unspeakable acts they want by blaming it on a god.
I see.
Carlotta needed Reagan killed because he was blackmailing her, and Mundy had the sword. What about the merchant Gaimin?
He and Kondo never got on. For all I know, there were reasons that the other people were chosen as well. It's
Personal
often
reasons.
the way of these things.
Okay.
Kondo's dead. I killed him.
Well, that'll be one less thing for Nylonathotep to do when he gets here.
How many of the cultists were secretly in the dark sect?
Only myself and Kondo.
And why does my voice
But
change
Boyd
all the
was
time?
easily manipulated to our ends as well. He rarely had any idea what was going on.
We just used him because it suited our purposes to do so. Foyd couldn't have told anyone what we were doing because he only barely understood anything that was going on around him.
Yeah, we know.
What about Gelid? Did you kill him?
Yes, he had to be removed.
Yeah, we
He was
noticed.
still loyal to Anu Anu, and he had outlived his usefulness.
I see.
What have you done with Carlotta?
As far as I know, she's still tending the wounds of that wretched excuse for a god.
You pulled the wool over her eyes, didn't you? Pretending to worship Anu Anu.
The wool? I pulled the whole sheep.
Was Horst somehow involved in your plans?
Horst? Ha! Without Horst, we'd have never got Monday staying in the Octarine Parrot. The trouble with trying to murder in a geometric shape is you're really quite restricted as to where you can work.
True.
So how come Horst's name isn't on the list?
He's not a cultist, Lewton. He's just a greedy troll who thought helping us would get him the sword.
Instead, it's going to get him and everyone else killed.
I really think you should have let me say that. I mean, you say it in such a disappointing fashion. I can deliver lines like that with much greater dramatic effect.
You're a vain, arrogant, dangerous man, Satrap.
Thank you.
Where's the trapezohedron?
It's funny you should ask. I was just looking for it now.
It's in space?
Once we have our hands on it, nothing will stop Nylon Athatep. The whole of creation will be destroyed.
Don't you think that laugh is a little over the top?
No, but your
Listen,
constantly
there are
wrong
fewer
voice
parts than
is
you might
over
think
the
to be
top.
what most people would consider an insane psychopath plotting the destruction of everything. I have always thought that a good dose of mad laughter was something I had earned the right to indulge in.
This whole plan is crazy, Satrap. No one in their right mind plots such mindless destruction on such a large scale. You need help.
I have all the help I need, Lewton. I have Nylonathatep.
It's not helping you. It wouldn't help anyone. It is totally evil.
Evil? No, I will not accept that. It is conditioned simply to survive, and it can survive only by dominating all other life. When all other life is suppressed, then we will have peace. Wars will
Yeah,
end.
well, at least that's true because
It
there's
is
no
a
life.
power not of evil, but of good.
Sure.
Satrap, if you had created a spell that could destroy all forms of life, would sweep throughout the disk and leave nothing in its wake, would you allow its use?
It is an interesting conjecture.
But would you do it?
Yes.
To hold in my hand a scroll that contained such power. To know that life, death on such a scale, was
This guy's even worse than Thanos.
To know that the faintest of breaths speaking those words would end everything. Yes! I would do it. That power would set me up among the gods, and through Nylonathatep, I have that power!
Yeah, but you would be dead
You're
too.
deranged, Satrap. I thought Mooncalf was bad, but you take the honors. I can't allow this to continue. I have to stop you.
You cannot stop me now! I'm invincible!
Give it up, Satrap. It's over. I pursued Satrap up onto the roof. His robes were rank with the stench of Gellet's blood, and I couldn't control myself.
So much for Satrap.
The next thing I knew, Satrap's body was tumbling down the roof into a crumpled heap below.
Get down here! This isn't over!
Oh, it is. Hello,
Don't
Death.
Turn away from me while I'm talking to you. Come back! This isn't over!
It is for you.
Oh, black spectre of the cold sleep of death. Leave me, your humble servant, so that I can witness the destruction I have wrought in thy name.
Wrought in thy name? You should get out more often, Satrap.
I live to serve you.
Really? Any good at making curry?
Curry.
No. But I am causing death and destruction on a scale as yet unprecedented.
And you think that makes me happy? I'm not the god of death, you know. I'm just death. I'm just providing a service. There are times, you know, when I get really annoyed by you mortals.
Told you.
Does that mean I'm going to be punished for all eternity?
If that's what you want.
Isn't there some way
Well, basically
I can
he
bargain
is.
with you?
Nothing springs to mind.
Surely someone has found a way to attempt to avoid the final curtain?
Well, people sometimes challenge me to a game.
Game of chess.
Do they ever win?
No. But someone once challenged me to that one where you knock a little ball out of a hole. Flog, I think it was called.
What sort of game is that?
A really stupid one to play against a person who spends every second working on his swing.
Can I play you at it?
If you like. Last time I got a birdie on the 18th. But it was its own fault for flying so low.
I'll do anything.
Did that happen in the
life.
books?
Whatever you ask.
You're afraid of dying, aren't you?
I didn't think I would be, but I was wrong.
Here. Take my hand. There's nothing to worry about. The hard part is over.
Why are you being so nice to me? I tried to destroy all of creation.
Well, nobody's perfect.
At least death is nice. He's so sweet.
On the floor was an ornate device for navigating across the stars.
Ah.
The floor of the observatory was decorated with the 64 signs of the zodiac. They were all here. The celestial parsnip, the cow of heaven, the knotted string, even Okjok the salesman.
Excuse me, 64 signs of the zodiac? How many months do they have in a year? How long is a year for Discworld? Do they even have years? We gotta. How long do people live here? So many questions.
The golem didn't say much. It wasn't their way.
Yeah, because it's a golem.
The huge telescope was too large to be moved by hand, so a nearby golem operated the cranks.
Can I use the star map with this?
If I knew something about stars, I guess I could have used the star map to point the telescope in the right direction. But I didn't know anything useful, and I had no idea where to start. I looked at the star map and back to the mosaics. The map seemed to include a constellation. All I had to do was find out which one and tell the golem to move the telescope to look at it. Well, it was a plan of sorts.
It's a start.
The celestial parsnip was one of the most famous constellations. By drawing a line across its length, you could find Hubaris, the hub star, which used to lie exactly over Kari Celesti at the hub of the world, until two drunken thunder gods staggered back to Dun Manifestin drunk one night and knocked it off course. As a result of this incident, 3 traveling salesmen mistook Hubaris for an omen and arrived at a stable in Sirit, trying to sell their cheap perfumes and embalming oils. Life's like that. The Flying Moose, my birth sign. Apparently it was a rocky sign, but I didn't know why. I didn't know anything about Gahuli, the vase of tulips, apart from the fact that it didn't look at all like a vase. It looked more like some careless sky god had spilt something. The double-headed kangaroo was the astrological birth sign of the coward. It had that characteristic quality of most constellations in that it looked nothing like what its name suggested. What it most resembled was a ball of string, and it was hence easily confused with the knotted string, which was the birth sign of the dismally confused.
Oh yeah, Flying Moose, Rocky. Yep, Rocky and Bullwinkle. Yep.
I didn't know anything about Gahuli the vase. It looked more like some careless...
Could that be a reference to the guide, to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? You know, the whale turns into a vase of flower dandelions or something and falls from the sky. I mean, it breaks up like this then.
The double-headed kangaroo was the astrological birth. It had that characteristic quality of most constellations in that it looked nothing like what its name suggested. What it most resembled was a ball of string, and it was hence easily confused with the knotted string, which was the birth sign of the dismally confused.
I see.
The small, boring group of faint stars was the least remarkable of all the constellations.
It really is called the Small Boring Group of Faint Stars. It doesn't even have a proper name. It's just a small, boring group of faint stars. The greatest constellation of all the constellations. It's like they're the leftovers that they were discovered last. And somebody just, it's a small group, a boring group of faint stars. Nobody cares. Okay, I'll name it that then. Rincewind is born under that sign. Oh, poor Rincewind. Born under the sign of the small, boring group of faint stars.
I suppose the small, boring group of faint stars might have been on the map, but if they were, they'd been drawn much brighter than they really were. Swing the telescope around to face the small, boring group of faint stars. The stars seemed to be pointing at the Salaci Mausoleum. If the map was right, the jewel was somewhere inside.
The mausoleum. Interesting. It is traditionally associated with chessboard makers, sellers of onions, manufacturers of plaster images of small religious significance, and people allergic to pewter. Yeah. Faint stars and boring groups. Huh. Yeah.
The central atrium of the mausoleum opened up so that you could see the sky. I guess on some nights it must have been quite a beautiful sight. But this wasn't one of those nights.
By the way, anybody notice anything wrong with this picture? Anybody? Manufacturers of plaster images of small religious significance is one of my favorite sentences. Each word takes it a completely other direction than the last. Yep. It's raining from a clear sky. And also there's lightning and thunder. Like, where is it coming from? How can it be a clear starry sky, but it's raining? Isilda, you got an explanation for this? I mean, we have seen the moon in the sky, but it's still raining. No, Bennigan, this has been happening throughout the whole game. We have seen a clear starry sky and even the moon, but it's still raining. How? I think I just figured it out. You want to know why it's raining even on a clear sky? Not that a wizard did it. You guys want to know? It's a theory, but I think it's the most accurate theory that I could think of for a clear sky, but also raining, thunder, lightning. No, not gods are peeing. No, nothing disgusting like that. It's just a simple joke. It's a film noir game. In film noir, it's always raining. That's the joke. And always nighttime, yep. I mean, we haven't seen the sun at all throughout the whole game. And who knows how many days have passed already, but it's still raining, still dark, no sun, no sunshine, rain all the time, even on a starry sky. It's a good joke throughout the whole game, and now we figured it out.
I used the astrolabe to see exactly where Two Conquer's map pointed. They seem to be indicating a grotesque in the entrance chamber.
Dun, dun, dun.
Lisa really should remember that sound command. Because she likes to say dun dun dun.
I don't know who thought it was tasteful to make carved statues that were part human and part mythical beast, but frankly, I thought they looked awful.
I mean, why do you else do you think they're called grotesques?
I searched the grotesque carefully and concluded that it was a cover stone for something underground.
Why does it look like Lewton?
I pushed it, opening up the crypt below. The stale air told me that this chamber hadn't been visited in hundreds of years. In the gloom, I could make out a single sarcophagus. The sarcophagus didn't look like any recent design. In fact, I was surprised to see one in Ankh-Morpork at all. It must have been imported from somewhere.
I hope the Salachi family doesn't actually mind that we're here.
On the sarcophagus was a circular indentation with a square peg coming out of it.
Well, I know what to put there. You.
The design of the amulet was completely different to the design of the sarcophagus.
Okay. Then... do I need to draw the sign on it?
I didn't think that had... I didn't think... I couldn't move the peg with my hands.
Must be missing something. Aha! The coin! Finally, we have a use for this Deus Ex Machina. Or MacGuffin. Red herring.
Mundy's coin fitted the indentation perfectly, and with it, I could easily turn the peg.
We've had that coin
There
since
was
the
a
beginning of the game.
click, and the sarcophagus opened.
How's it going?
Inside the sarcophagus was a suit of armor, grasping a glowing gem that could only be The radiant trapezohedron.
Ah.
I wasn't expecting the armor to burst into life, though.
Sorry about that. It was just a reaction.
Thanks a lot. 400 years I wait for you to come and let me out. And the first thing you do is cut my arm off. It'll take ages to sew back on.
I'm sorry. I just sort of acted reflexively.
Uh-huh.
So you instinctively cut the arm off people you meet?
Only those that scare.
If they come bursting out of a coffin, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sarcophagus.
Just be lucky he didn't cut your head off.
A very nice sarcophagus. Donated to the Order by some nice people in Jelly Baby.
And you're vitally impaired.
Vitally impaired? What's that supposed to mean? Hmm?
You're a zombie.
Call a spade a spade. I'm a zombie. Right.
That's what he meant.
If that's the way you want it, I need that jewel.
I'm sure you do. But first, you must answer the riddle and prove your worth.
Uh-huh.
The riddle?
Indeed. Are you ready, mortal?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. I'm in a real hurry and I need that jewel.
Oh, please.
Let's play your game.
I've been here for 400 years.
Let's choose wisely.
Please let me ask the riddle.
Mm-hmm.
Make it fast.
All right. What is...
I bet he's forgotten it.
Oh, bugger. I've forgotten it.
How did I guess?
Forgotten it?
Well, it has been 400 years. You see how good your memory is after 4 centuries. Especially when you got mice.
Can I have the jewel or not?
No. I have to ask the riddle. How else am I going to know if you're a follower of the dark cults?
Well, I can show you either this or that. I mean, those are the only things I can think of.
Kondo's amulet has a symbol. I didn't think I could win the zombie over by showing him the amulet. He'd probably assume I was a worshipper of Nylon Athatep.
So the falchion then?
Look, I have the golden falchion. Surely that counts for something.
Oh, I knew you had the sword, but that's no help.
How not?
If you're on the side of darkness and you have the falchion, then I definitely can't give you the jewel.
But didn't you just ask about the...
No, I had the sword.
I saw you coming in the jewel.
Really? Did you see anything else?
Oh, I've been watching the progress of the sword since I got here.
In which case, you must have seen Mundy hide the sword in the crate, and me recover it from Vault 51.
Yes, I did.
So, you saw me killed by Anu Anu.
Oh, yeah. That big dog creature. How did you survive that, by the way?
Carlotta had turned me into a werewolf.
I thought it might be something like that.
Well, could it be vampire?
I never give you the whole story with those cliffhanger endings. I remember 200 years ago when I saw someone go off the cliff in a cart. Only it turned out he actually leapt clear at the last minute. I call that cheating.
Anyway, did you see when Anu Anu summoned Nylonathotep?
Oh, I see. That's what the big cosmic horror was then.
Uh-huh.
What did you think it was?
Well, I thought it might just have been
See you, Seldom.
fog.
Have a
The
good night's sleep.
reception in here isn't very good.
If you saw all that, you must know that I'm not with the forces of darkness.
Hang on. You were there when this cosmic horror was summoned?
Yes.
Tied up.
Then why didn't you stop it?
I was being restrained. Come on, just give me the jewel.
No can do.
Stubborn.
You saw me defeat Satrap, wasn't that enough? Didn't you hear what he said?
No sound with the jewel, I'm afraid. You just get pictures.
Do you know what's most ridiculous about this? If I was with the Dark Sect, I'd just use the sword to kill you, and then just run off with the jewel.
You know, that's a very good point.
So I'll tell you what I'll do. Either give me the jewel freely, or I'll pretend I'm with the Dark Sects and I'll just take it.
You're not leaving me many options.
You only have one. Give the jewel.
Please.
Here you go.
Stubborn old zombie.
Thank you. And may I say, I hope the next 400 years just fly by. The guardian of the radiant trapezohedron had been in the crypt for centuries. That was a degree of dedication to work which I couldn't quite comprehend.
I gotta say, he looks good for a 400-year-old zombie.
Horst, I was wondering where you had got to.
Then we have been engaged in similar pastimes.
Lewton.
Ilsa.
As you can see, I have been forced to take more drastic action. I dislike having to take such radical steps, but since the untimely demise of Mr. Alcali, I no longer have the luxury of observing events from afar.
Let her go, Horst.
Let her go, Mr. Lewton? You make it sound as if she is my prisoner. I am merely keeping her well protected against the more hostile elements of this wretched settlement.
Let her go.
That is precisely my intention, Mr. Lewton. But first, you must fulfill your agreement with me.
The sword?
You want the sword.
Indeed. You agreed to bring me the sword, and I'm here to collect.
No deal, Horst. I need the sword to stop Nylonathotep.
And what might that be, sir?
It's a creature from the dungeon dimensions, and it's loose in Ankh-Morpork.
That's his maybe. It still doesn't change our agreement. You promised me the sword, sir, and I am here to collect.
If I give you the sword, thousands will die.
Oh, come now. The world is full of people. What are the lives of those insignificant specks compared to our own?
Well, eventually everybody will die
Sir,
because of the
when we
monstrosity.
depart from most people, we see what we want, and we take it. If a few tiny lights have to be extinguished to achieve our goals, then that is unfortunate. But it is of little consequence.
We're not talking about a few lights. We're talking about a few thousand lights. Maybe hundreds of thousands.
Then we will have to learn to live in the dark.
I can't do it, Horst.
Oh dear. I thought you were a man of your word, sir, but it seems I was mistaken. Very well. Then I am forced to take more drastic action. I don't know how much pressure it would take from my fingers to suffocate the young lady here.
and I'm not entirely sure that I wouldn't apply slightly too much pressure and snap her spine. However, you have forced me to experiment.
Lewton.
All right, Horst. You win. Let her go.
Excellent. I thought you were a man of reason, sir, and I was right. I admire a man who is not so stubborn as to throw away what he values just for his stubborn pride.
You've got what you wanted, now let her go!
What a bastard, this Horst.
I took Ilsa back to my office. What other choice did I have?
Not much.
I felt
really.
so stupid, giving Horst the sword and staying with Ilsa as the troll disappeared into the night's fog. But even if I tried to follow him, the dark magenta stench of Nylonathotep drowned out every other scent in the city. There was nothing I could do. After we'd both calmed down, I told her everything that had happened.
So Satrap was looking for Tukonka's jewel.
That jewel is known as the Radiant Trapezohedron, and I think it can save the city, but I have a nasty suspicion that we need this sword as well.
The Radiant Trapezohedron. Yes, it never occurred to me that they would be the same. The descriptions of the trapezohedron are vague at best. Satrap must have been trying to immanentize the Garunan Eschaton.
Can you try that again without sneezing?
The Garunan Eschaton is one of the many myths concerning the end of the Discworld. It's very obscure.
What's it about?
It tells how some of the entities from the dungeon dimensions have been trapped around the Discworld. Some in the lost city of Leshp, some in the heart of the Garuna Trench, some in places men don't even have names for. When the Eschaton occurs, they are supposed to be released from their captivity and destroy everything they can get their tentacles on.
I think that's
The
exactly
usual
what's
thing.
happening right now.
Nylonathotep is loose. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the end of everything. Maybe it's a good time to borrow lots of money.
Lewton, I heard you'd been killed. I saw your grave.
I heal quickly.
I left a letter by your graveside.
I know. I saw it.
I wrote it when I had to leave you all those years ago, but I never had the courage to send it to you. I didn't know how to tell you that I was married.
To two conquers.
Yes, he needs me, Lewton. He always did. And in a strange way, I need him too. He gave my life meaning. I had nothing before I met him.
None of that matters anymore.
You never told me how you felt.
What's to tell? I was born when you kissed me, and I died when you left me. I lived a few weeks while you loved me. Of course, I also died when I got stabbed in the back, but you know, that wasn't nearly as painful.
I'm sorry.
Except you
I
got
bet
stabbed
you
in the
never thought
front.
of me as a man who could fall in love.
I never thought about you at all. I couldn't. If I had, it would have driven me mad.
I thought about you every day, until I'd drunk enough to forget. I let my life slide till there was nothing left to live for but bitterness. Well, all that's going to change. I'm going to save this city if I have to die again to do it. And I'm not going to do it for you, or for me, or for the worthless people who live in it. I'm going to do it to prove for once and for all that I'm not the washed-up loser everyone thinks I am. And if it turns out that I am, then everything will get destroyed and no one will know about it. So hey, from where I stand, there's no downside.
What are you going to do?
First of all, we have to find Horst.
How?
I have no idea.
I have an idea.
For an artifact of near unlimited power, the trapezohedron was surprisingly unimpressive. I peered deeply into the trapezohedron and I could see an image of Horst with the golden sword. It
That's
looked
the-
like he was at the Maudlin Bridge.
Yep. Now we know where he is. Let's go. I should save.
I took a few precautions and then headed down to the Maudlin
Carlotta?
Bridge to check it out. The image in the trapezohedron turned out to be right. Horst was at the Maudlin Bridge, and he wasn't alone. He and our mutual acquaintance seemed to be in some sort of dispute.
What happened to our agreement, Horst? We were supposed to be working together.
Really, madam? Then why was it that you arranged for Monday to sell the sword to you, and you alone?
Just because I didn't trust Al-Khali as a courier didn't mean I broke the agreement.
And I suppose you're going to deny that you were involved in his death?
I couldn't stop his death, but that doesn't mean I caused it.
Doesn't it?
What about you? It was you who set Malachite after me, wasn't it?
I thought you might appreciate being reunited with your estranged brother.
You sent him after me to try and slow me down.
You are the betrayer among us, madam. Don't try
Among
to
us?
substitute me as the villain of the piece. Yes, I freed Malachite, and yes, I used him to slow down you and Mr. Lewton. But you were the one who arranged his death.
I didn't arrange his death. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
And you put him there.
I'm not here to debate the details with you, Horst.
Why are you here?
Give me the sword.
After all I've risked to get hold of it? No. As soon as my launch arrives, I will be taking the sword away from this God's forsaken city. If you want, you can have a small share of the profits. I am not ungrateful for your assistance in this endeavor, but that is all I'm prepared to offer.
Why, you miserable excuse for a troll.
Oh, come now. I could snap your neck like a twig if I wanted to, but I'm not going to, because there's nothing to be gained from doing it.
Listen, Horst. Either give me the sword, or kill me. Because one way or another, I won't allow you to leave town with the sword.
As you wish.
I didn't think of myself as a murderer, but I wasn't about to stand by and watch Horst try to kill Carlotta. It was over in a flash. I don't even know how it happened.
He's better off dead.
Is that all you can say about him?
He was some kind of a troll. What does it matter what you say about trolls?
What now?
We have to get out of the city.
Can't we stop it?
It's too late for that. Right now, Nylonathotep is opening a portal to the dungeon dimensions above the city. When it grows large enough, everything will be destroyed.
I have the trapezohedron. Doesn't that help?
It means Nylonathotep won't be powerful enough to destroy more than just the Circle C. And if we leave now, we can get away before the worst of the destruction.
I'm not leaving the city. It's my home. It's not much of a home, but it's all I've got.
You've got me, Lewton. Come with me. I'll renounce the cult, and we can run free in the hills of Ubervold.
It's not that I don't have feelings for you, Carlotta. I do. It's just that I don't trust you. You murdered your own brother. You'd have killed me if I'd got in the way.
So what? So I'm no good. I'm no worse than anybody else. Think about it, Lewton.
Come on, Lewton. Push her in there.
Wide open spaces of Ubervold.
Right next to Horst.
Will stay here and die with the rest
Kill
of the
him.
rabble. Don't be
Do
a
it.
fool, Lewton. Join
Push her.
me.
I can't. I'm sorry, Carlotta, but there's only one way this can end.
You're turning me over to the Watch?
I'd like to be able to run away with you, turn my back on the city, and just escape it all. But face it, Carlotta, I'd be dead in a week. Thanks for coming, Nobby.
Hey, what are friends for? Mrs. Carlotta von Uberwald? I'm arresting you for conspiracy, accessory to murder, attempted herbicide, and for being bloody stupid. You don't have to say anything. But if you say not guilty, we're liable to kill ourselves laughing.
Oh, you'll regret this, Lewton. Nothing's going to save you now. The only way to stop the destruction of the city would be to take the Falchion into the portal. And I hope you try.
As he left, Vimes fixed me in his eyes, as if to say that this didn't make up for what I did all those years ago. But I didn't care about that. This wasn't about the past. It was about the future. I looked down at the hulking corpse of Jasper Horst in the river mud, and I wondered if I'd done the right thing. But life's too short for regrets, and if I didn't stop Nylonathotep soon, it would be too short for a shot of whiskey, and that wasn't any sort of life I wanted. Somehow, I had to get the Falchion into the portal before it was too late. Time was short. I had to reach that portal somehow. The question was, how?
It was interesting to know that the trolls can die in the River Ankh, but it also makes sense. Nothing can survive the River Ankh, unless you're extremely lucky. Now let's think, we need to get it into the portal, we cannot just walk in there. Well, there's the flying machine. Or the flappy, wingy, flying vehicle device, whatever they named it. It's a long shot, but it's a good shot. Right?
The contraption that Leonard and two conkers had been working on was my only chance.
Even he agrees with
Well,
me.
it's finished. Now all we have to do is fly it.
And I'm volunteering.
Ah, hello again. You want to be the person in the seat that guides the device?
I'm going to have to be.
We still need somewhere long and flat to launch it from.
I'll see what I can do.
Well, there seems to be a launching pad right here. I mean, just look at that. Perfect for it.
There was debris scattered all over the roof.
There, cleared.
It didn't take me long to get the roof clear of rubble. I hope there was no one down below when it hit the ground.
Only took one kick.
I've cleared the rubble off the roof. Can we launch this from there?
It might just work.
Give me a hand moving it out there and we'll see what happens.
Whatever happens, happens. Flipping wing flying device.
The device was ready to fly. All I had to do was pluck up enough courage to do it.
Well, let's get flying then.
Seconds before I could launch, Ilsa came flying down the rooftop.
Wait!
What are you doing here? How did you find me?
Lewton, you can see this device from halfway across the city. All you have to do is look up.
Oh.
Why did you stop me?
You're going to try and stop Nylonathotep in this?
It's all I've got. Carlotta said if I took the sword into the portal, I could stop it.
You can't go up against a creature from the dungeon dimensions without some sort of protection.
Protection? Like what?
I don't know, but you need something.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
Protection, huh? Do I need to get some armor or something? Protection, protection, protection.
For an artifact, Kondo's amulet has a...
Didn't the text say that this amulet is some kind of a protective amulet? Do I need to use it on myself? Nope. Do I need to use it on the device?
That wasn't going to protect me.
Okay. No, wait a minute. Wait. This is the protective sign. The sign of the eel.
I inscribed the sign of the eel on the side of the flapping wing flying device. I hoped it was enough protection. I was going to need all the help I could get.
Now let's fly, Bobby.
This is it, Ilsa. I have my protection. Wish me luck.
This is crazy, Lewton. It's suicide.
I know, but I have to do it. I'm the only one who can. Now, wish me luck.
I hope this works. Hopefully he's not gonna end up like Icarus. Looks like a dragon, don't it? I hope I don't need to play a minigame here.
I slotted the tetrahedron into the sword and steered the flying machine towards the portal, pedaling as fast as my tired little legs could manage. I kept flying.
What are you looking at?
The sky full of flame and thunder.
I'd say that did it.
It was 1,000,000 to 1 chance that I could land it safely. But on the Discworld, 1,000,000 to 1 chances happen 9 times out of 10.
Nice landing, Lewton.
Who do you think you are? My guardian angel?
Oh, I lost my wings a long time ago.
I can see I'm going to have to get used to finding you where I least expect.
Yeah, sounds about right.
My original launch had attracted a lot of attention. I'd saved the city, but that didn't change things with Remora. If I didn't get out of the city, there was no telling what he'd do to me. 2 Conkers, get the flapping wing flying device ready. It's going on another flight.
Oh, as you are wishing.
Where are you going?
I'm not going anywhere, but you are. The Assassin's Guild still has a contract out on your husband's head, and they won't stop until he's dead.
Let him go. I'll stay here with you.
I can't offer you much of a life, but he can.
I love you, Lewton.
Yeah, I know. But love isn't always enough. If you don't get on that flying machine, you'll regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon, and for the rest of your life. Which won't be very long if the Assassin's Guild catches you.
What about us?
We'll always have the Hotel Pseudopolis. We didn't for a while. We lost it. But we got it back. And no one can take that away from us. Here's looking at you, Ilsa.
There it is. I was wondering if they will quote Casablanca. 2 Conquerors is a beautiful man.
Well, it's over.
You really loved her, didn't you?
I don't know. It doesn't make much
Hey,
sense.
look, the sun is
Well,
shining.
don't ask me either. I mean, I'm a species that thinks someone's leg is an object of desire.
Thanks, Gaspard. You know, this could be the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Don't push your luck, sonny boy.
Well, I was about to say, hey, Casablanca ending, but nope, Discworld ending. Yay! Done. Woo! Oh. Voice of Lewton, Rob Brydon. And there are the other actors.
Mission accomplished. Congratulations.
What a great game. I mean, did it have the same kind of writing as the first 2 games, but it still had lots of great moments in it, if you ask me. Very enjoyable game indeed. I hope you guys liked it. It was fun to play through all of these Discworld games. No idea, Goblin, none whatsoever. You'll have to find out on Monday what it's going to be. Speech recording and conversion. Yeah, your conversion sucked at some places. Conduit of uncontrollable rage. I mean, this was definitely a different kind of a game compared to the other 2. But I like it. Fun story, funny moments, and funny characters here and there. And also, nice to see, you know, some of the same characters that were in the previous games. Far too much interference, Terry Pratchett. That goes to show that Terry Pratchett had his hands on this game a lot. Perfect.